Check, check, check.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
You get wherever you're comfortable when you stay there.
I can't get my legs all the way over the table. I'm a man of one carriage. Whoa, there you go. Hey, look at that. Hello. That might be better. Okay, that is pretty damn good.
I got so much onion in my mouth. I'm sorry, bro.
Dude, when I went to wash my hands, I was fucking onions.
Yeah,
on the
no,
side of spaghetti.
I thought that my urine was like, I thought there was something wrong with me, and I think it was just my diet for the 3 days.
Oh, yeah. What were you eating?
I guess I ate a full. Welcome to Axe to Grind, the best hardcore podcast ever in existence.
True. Facts.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm Patrick,
I'm Bob.
I'm Tom.
and
Pat's been eating like shit the last 3 days.
Yeah, so what did you eat?
Like punk rock stew? Like, what have you been doing?
okay, so my girl's away, and some dudes they conspire to cheat, you know, or they got a secret habit, you know, some shit like that. I just live more like I would naturally. You know what I mean? Which is like kind of disgusting.
It looks more like Lincoln Ave right up here.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So you cheat like in the Epicurean sense.
Yes.
Got it.
So let's throw some Amelia praise. She keeps a very clean house.
She does.
Immaculate.
In all senses of the term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She keeps you in line.
Yep.
It doesn't look well.
No, it's
this isn't
fine.
so
He's
bad, actually.
no. Patrick probably puts himself out there as more of a mess than he is. It becomes a dude ranch,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
Although I did clean my baseboards.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, on the tops.
Yeah.
It's tough with this kind of baseboard.
Well, so I learned online that you've got to use dry wipe first.
Yes.
Don't ever go wet.
No,
it
'cause
just
it sticks
turns
it in.
it turns that dust into sludge.
It makes sense. Did you do that because you were having the spiritual cramp boys here?
No,
Oh, I thought you were trying to like impress your friends.
not at all. Not at all. No,
This is probably the nicest place most people will stay on tour.
that's
Oh,
probably
that's
true.
true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
probably
Pretty
true.
fair, you know.
No, Amelia is just. I'm trying to stay ahead
Like
of it. as
relatively
much-
on top of it.
Yeah, because
So it's not a mad dash.
right.
Well, we discussed the cleaning plan prior to her return. I think he's on point.
Did Bob's got the mind for that? Did he set that
Yeah,
up for you?
you know, he did. He
Like, here's what
made
you
some
do, 3
suggestions.
o'clock. on a
I mean, my
Thursday.
real
You're like,
suggestion was just basically like, look, she's back on a Friday. Don't do it Thursday. Do it Wednesday.
So it looks a little lived in?
Well, no, Wednesday, and then what you missed, you might see Thursday.
I haven't.
In
And
the
you
light
might
of
be able
day.
to do a little extra credit. You know what I mean?
I haven't slept under my covers at all.
Have you been sleeping on the couch?
I slept on the couch, but then spiritual
Not a bad
cramp.
look, man.
Spiritual cramp was here.
You got a TV out here?
Yeah, I love.
It's not bad.
I-
It's long
I-
enough. You can fit.
You want to hear something crazy? I slept on the bed last night because I had company, and my back sort of hurts. I'm more of a couch guy.
I think if it was up to most dudes,
Couch.
it would just be couches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely not.
Beds
put
were
it back.
about, maybe get a little bigger, but like couches
Yeah,
are great.
like a real
you know?
deal. Like, well, we're taller fellas. Like, I can't really sleep on my couch because it's pretty
Yeah.
short.
I mean, my bed is actually shorter than my couch. I think.
That might be
Oh.
true. I
I
have
get like a 6.5 foot couch.
so we got that sectional L, and now that's not some. I've had that for going on 12 years maybe.
Right.
And it was like an IKEA couch, but we kept it in nice shape. Man, I can lay out on that, stretch out. I can lay my arms. Oh, it's great.
The little
Couch
boy can
life.
sleep on the L side.
Oh
It's
yeah,
perfect.
it's
Yeah,
just
it works.
beautiful.
So people at home, keep your baseboards clean.
Is that like my father used to say? Like you can tell a lot by a person by his shoes and his teeth.
Yeah.
Is that like baseboards are the shoes and teeth of? Like if a person's got shitty, like you could have the nicest suit on, but if your shoes are fucked up, there's something missing.
So for me on tour, baseboards don't factor in, but it's a gestalt. You know what I mean? It just contributes to a larger idea. The biggest is if something doesn't drain. If something doesn't drain, then we're dealing with a mental health issue or something.
Right, like if you're showering someone else's. Yeah.
And
And this
drain.
place is very crisp. Any dirt would really show.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
It's very pristine.
Yeah.
I'm big on the clean sink.
Clean.
You know.
It's impossible
Yeah.
with this sink that doesn't
It's
have
tough.
it has no angle.
No, I know. Yeah.
So it's like a slop sink.
So clean
Everything
sink
stays.
and no dishes in it, just because if you do that first when you're cleaning your house, that's the first step.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, the
Yeah.
kitchen's basically clean,
Sure.
It's
And you
tough.
get to the bathroom, and then everything else is up for debate.
So let's give a shout out to our sponsor, shall we?
Yes,
Sounds like Magic Eraser is going to be a sponsor soon.
very soon. You know what that, you talked about this.
I
Kindle
talked
and
about
Cleaning
it.
Kills
Company?
everything.
Yeah.
That should be our new sponsor.
Who you want to start with?
Let's
today?
start with
Death Wish.
Death Wish Inc.
Okay. Proud to have Death Wish as a sponsor. Aside from my personal relationship with them for many years, it's also Probably the strongest. I'm going to go strongest distro. Sorry, Rev. I'm going strongest distro. Is that a controversial or is that all right to
No,
put
it
out
might
there?
be even truer in 2019.
I'm putting it out there. Strong distro. Basically, anything that you would want mail order, you can get.
Well curated.
Well
Yes,
curated.
I agree with that.
And now you can get like I saw
Turntables. That's awesome.
you get craft shit like artisan shit. Like I saw the kid from he was in Hatebreed, right?
Sean Martin.
Sean Martin.
Honey.
He's doing Honey.
That's his?
That's
That's
his.
his.
It was in like my
Him-
email, my Death Wish
Yeah.
Inc. bestseller email.
Him and his partner, his wife,
That's dope.
girlfriend. They're doing the Honey thing.
So let's shout that out big.
Well, I don't fuck with the Honey, but you guys, I'll let you shout it out.
No vegan honey. All right.
I'll let you
That's
shout
right.
it out.
All right. I'm going to shout out the honey because I was looking at it as a potential gift for someone in Amanda's family. I was like, look,
Interesting.
local Connecticut raw
Right.
honey, chill. And I accidentally just sent it to my sister who was like, oh, that's cool. I don't know what Hatebreed is. but- so, big shout out to the
Twitching
Martin
Tongues
honey.
honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What So as a vegan, you will not do any honey.
Nah. It's the one thing that, like, if I've been eating something for 5 minutes and somebody says, "Oh, there's honey in it,"
You're not gonna stop.
I may finish it,
Yeah.
but
Oh, okay.
it's not like cheese where I'll just say, "Oh,
Fuck.
Done.
get this away
Yeah.
from me." So I may finish the thing that I'm currently eating,
Right.
But I won't buy something with honey.
Interesting.
What about, so they're doing the fully synthetic meat kind of deal?
Yeah.
What if they did fully synthetic honey?
Death Wish.
I'd be psyched on fully synthetic.
I see,
honey.
and I don't know. They should just jump to. Why wouldn't they
Why
do
not?
that?
They
It
kind
seems
of
easy,
do in the
right?
respect that like sugared syrups, like whatever the simple syrups
Yeah.
of all types, kind of have crossover with honey. You could fake it probably pretty easily.
Sure.
I love. I mean, I haven't had honey in 20 years, but I loved it when I had it. And like a honey peanut butter sandwich.
Oh yeah. I had a spreadable honey on an English muffin the other day. Really
Interesting.
good, really nice.
Are they not all spreadable?
Well, they are, but this
I don't
one's
fuck with
more
honey that
solid.
much.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is the thing. I don't fuck with honey too much in the the regular
in a bear?
Yeah, the honey you think of.
Yeah.
But spreadable honey is got more of a buttery texture,
Oh.
so you can take a knife and spread it. Really key.
I'm always thinking it's like the.
Nope.
What's
This version. Nice.
What's that honey that like cures cancer and shit? What is that? There's a honey that
Sean Martin's actually.
is that right?
Yeah, available from at deathwishing.com. And if you enter the promo code,
Axe to grind,
you'll receive 10% off your order. Spell it out. Blah,
and you'll
blah,
be
blah.
cancer free.
Cancer free. Spell
Wow, these are big promises. Spell it out. I forget what the fuck it was.
Some honey cures cancer.
Well, some honey, like the people in the holistic world,
Mm-hmm.
believe in some sort of fucking honey that is like next level honey.
I'm gonna Google this while you
Google
talk.
it.
I'm really glad there's no licensure for us. We can say really reckless shit on here.
Like, yo, I'm not a doctor, but
Yeah.
Eat some honey, cancer free.
Yeah. Okay. On
Cool.
to
Sponsor 2, sponsor 1, the OG, Sammy Bear, Triple B.
the God.
What's up, Sam?
Triple B Records. I see that there is a new.
one step closer.
Yeah, we talked about that though. What is the new? The
Never
new
ending
new.
game.
No, the new headlining
Oh, three knees deep.
3 knee deep.
Three Knee Deep.
Oh
with-
yeah, the promo tracks. You're
with-
feeling that.
Shout out to 3 Knee Deep. I think that is the one to look
The
for
album
right
art looks like Sam went to the mall
Yes.
in 1998.
Yes.
And they had the decal
Yes.
thing. And he just said, I'd like 3 of those. And they went to hand them to him. He's like, no, lay them on top of each other.
It looks like a Guy Fieri shirt,
Yes.
if I may be so.
No.
Boom, Flavor Town.
Welcome to Flavor Town, motherfucker.
An interesting thing is that when you talk to the dudes that are heavy on design, heavy on a certain aesthetic and all that, they occasionally beef with some of Sam's choices. And this might have been purely the band's choice. We don't know that. But I like the occasional wild card that Sam throws in there.
No,
Where he's like,
I
is that what you
appreciate
want?
it.
That's what
I
you want.
appreciate it. I appreciate the hell out of
If
it.
you think about like flipping through, say, like your Instagram feed, you are not missing the Never Ending Game artwork, and you're not missing this.
That's true.
That's true.
Even the Mind Force, I feel like I've seen ads that I go, oh shit, the Mind Force. Oh, it's not a Mind Force record,
Right.
Because it's kind of like, but like you're not mistaking that for anything
You
else.
might hate it.
I
but-
crushed
but
on it
you're
a little
noticing.
bit. I crushed on it a little bit, but it really does stand out, and all the whiteness does make it kind of stay out from the crowd.
I mean, it's the eye of the beholder because you could argue it's total trash, but I heard that same argument about the if we can't listen to fucking what is it?
United.
Unified Right.
Unified Right.
Sorry.
The Unified Right thing.
Not United News.
It kicked up so much fucking emotion.
And I
people.
love that. I love that cover.
And that's where I defer to on this is like, yo, sometimes the conversation's worth the fucking art.
Yep. All right. So if you go to triplebrecords.limitedrun.com, enter the promo code,
Axe to grind.
and you're going to want to
Spell it out.
receive 10% off your whole
I like
order.
that Josta podcast. That was pretty good.
CBD oil on the root.
So what?
We got Howard Jones up today.
What do we got to? Jesus, a lot of Howard Jones.
He's on every
there.
episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably a lot.
Very
of Howard
funny
Jones.
dude. Really nice
What's
guy.
he from?
Kill Switch Engage. And like blood has been shed. He's literally on like every other Joss episode.
He's like a big personality. Always has
All right.
been.
Yeah.
Anybody remember Howard Johnson's?
Of course.
Remember the one on Asbury Park?
Of course.
Now it's a Tim McLoon's or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like some
right. It's like a little thing.
But it was like this like circular restaurant.
Right next to the convention hall.
Yeah,
That's
where you
nice.
probably played at Punk Rock Bowling.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
right across
probably
the street.
Close,
Yes.
yeah. Today.
Today.
First round in the first installment of
Mosh Madness.
we're gonna get Greg Kellogg and Jim Clark and all the gangs all here to go through the round of 64.
okay.
Yes.
Do we need to we need to refresh the rules?
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is a fun activity. The last time we did one of these, I think I said the word fun 16, 20 times.
Yeah, you underlined.
Tried. Underlined, bold,
Italicized.
italicized.
Yeah.
This is a
28
fun activity. It's to encourage you to listen to the records. So your first job is, as we're going through, listen to these records. You want to put us on pause? Put us on pause. You want to listen to us, then go listen to all of them? That's highly recommended. You want to listen to these records, then listen to our episode? Ooh, you're on some Mensa shit.
Yeah.
So, to discuss, we threw out the question randomly. Hey, what's the best record since 2010? We got a lot of answers. We tallied them. We put them in order. The top 68 entered the tournament. We did a tiebreaker for the last 4 entrants.
Which is called The Bubble.
The Bubble. You can go back and listen to that episode. It was a time before now. And now
And it
we're
was a
down
time
to...
we will remember.
True.
Sorry, that's the first thing that popped in my head. Sorry.
That's good.
I mean, you'll
I have
never
some
be
thoughts.
mad at a Youth of Today reference.
I won't.
Pat will be like, wait,
Yeah, you lost me.
come again?
He'll get into it.
Sorry, I broke up
he'll
the
get
phone.
into it at the Super Soul Ranch. So we're into the round of 64. 64 records that we're listening to since 2010 to playfully get down to what is the quote-unquote best record since 2010 of the decade, basically. I actually think there'll be some entrants from 2019. I think there might be 1 or 2. But they're not there yet because we didn't go through 2019. But we're
Probably
basically
some-
doing
2018 maybe too.
good feel.
Right.
I think it made the tournament.
Half
The second half, there were some cool
2018,
records. But so this
Blind
was...
Force came out after that. Like that would
Yeah,
that
sure.
like
I don't know if Fiddlehead's in the tournament. Oh, no, it is. Fiddlehead's in
Definitely?
the tournament, yeah.
was it out? Yeah.
Yep. So
You
anyways,
started early, right? You started the. It was a
should
question
find
that
the
no
date.
one knew. Like
It
I
was
didn't even
nobody
know
knew.
about. Like Bob was like,
Yeah,
sometimes.
I didn't know that was coming.
Here it is.
slid it in.
Content. Yeah, Rollins style. So we are going to do 8 records today. You should have seen them posted on Twitter and Facebook, what records they are. Would you, before we get started, any questions how this will work? I should go into the voting. We encourage you to go to twitter.com/AxeToGrindCast. Follow us if you're on Twitter. If you don't, you can sign up and vote. We're not going to do votes on Facebook because Facebook voting sucks, actually.
Yeah.
But
you
we're
think
going to
this would
encourage
make
you.
sense to have? Maybe we're doing some pre-pro on the
Oh, yeah.
on the old show. Maybe set up an Instagram for this. The start.
Okay.
Do you think
Yeah,
that
we
might be
could.
because it's more of a visual thing?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, maybe we will. Okay.
I don't
We'll
know.
do it. Maybe. Yeah,
Anyway,
let's.
we'll talk about it.
And if we do, we'll post it. You can do it there too. So
Yeah. Well, not even for the voting, just to kind of be like, oh, here are the
here are
eight
the,
kind of.
here are the images. I think that's a great idea. So we are going to do voting. You guys decide what moves forward. The most important part of all this, just listen to the records. Hopefully share some opinions, and you're going to hear ours now.
Right. So the thought was, and we'll take this out if this doesn't make sense.
Sure.
No.
So we'll review or discuss over the course of however many episodes it takes.
Yes.
All 64 records.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Then we will, depending on how how they're kind of broken up, we will post about each individual bracket, as they say,
Yes.
on Twitter.
Yes. And Facebook and maybe Instagram.
and
whatever.
all the social media. We won't be doing episodes for each breakdown.
Probably not, because as we discussed, we're looking at it. We'll probably do 6 to 8-ish episodes on this.
Right.
And as we said, we're not going to do them all consecutively. It's going to be mixed up. But if you like our normal episodes, you'll like these. It's just us talking about hardcore. So that's cool.
Right.
But then if we were to do episodes beyond that, it would be a bunch more episodes. And talking about records we already talked about more than once.
We'd be talking probably until like September.
Yes. And we'd like to end loosely around when the end of March Madness is, which is the beginning of April. So with that, if you guys have questions, please get at us. It's for fun. There's going to be a lot of conversation about these records, both good, bad, and different, and everything in between. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope you, more than anything, go listen to these records.
Yes.
You guys want to hear the matchups?
Please.
Let's hear it.
All right.
Clark Kellogg.
Yeah, Clark Kellogg. What a dude.
Who else do we have on? I can't remember.
Jim Nance?
Jim Nance.
Jim Nance is a classic.
As long as it's not Joe Buck.
Yeah, no Joe Buck.
Sucks.
I have some weird respect with him. If you listen to interviews with him, he actually is pretty good. And
He
talks
hates
about
the
it.
Mets.
Oh, yeah. If you run some baseball stuff, he's so
a
biased.
homer.
Yeah.
It's like, we got it. You hate the Cardinals.
Yeah. All right. The number 1 seed, Fury Paramount. Verse, Renounced, Theories of Despair, a.k.a.
Todd. I don't know Margot.
No.
I'm sorry.
We're not going to
Good
dive
reference.
into this, but I'll go through all of them and then we'll go back.
I was just going to say, Renounced, though, it came from the bubble.
Came from the bubble.
Okay.
War Hungry, self-titled.
Wongy.
Verse, Bitter End, Guilty as Charged. Twitching Tongues, In Love There Is No Law. Verse, Code Orange Kids, Love is Love, Dust is Dust.
Return to Dust? Dust something. Yes.
You don't say.
Yeah. I was calling it Love is Love in my
Yeah.
head.
I think it is.
That's what it goes by, colloquially.
What was that again? Cool.
Just cut yourself in saying colloquially.
I
Yes.
can't.
Mindset, Leave No Doubt. Verse, Boston Strangler, Primitive.
Okay.
Those are some good matchups, man.
These are great matchups.
And this is just the first 8.
So before we get into it, and also just so the seeding makes sense, we went by the number of votes and seeded it from there. So Fury Paramount actually received the most votes from this random question.
Question.
Yes.
For myself and for our loyal listeners. These are not broken up in brackets per se. So this isn't 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, or is it?
It is.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You are a lunatic. This is amazing. All right.
I meant to print out the sheets for you guys.
Oh, I didn't know if we were doing 164 or 263.
It is 164, 263. But it's 164, then another bracket 163. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, I
263.
see.
Because
Got
the top seeds each get their own bracket. Just
So
like
there
the
are 4
tournament.
brackets. Got it. Wow.
You're going to really like it when you see the bracket. We will not
Are
be...
we going to use this wall to draw them? You
Yeah.
might.
we could do
While
that.
Amelia's
pretty big.
gone, please.
Yeah. Get the markers.
I almost painted it green to do green screen the other day, and knowing that it would. I don't like to.
Would you like to get beat?
That's
She
the
would
thing,
beat you.
I don't like to send her into like true insanity, but I think the gag would be funny for like literally a second.
Until you tried to match the color. Do you know how hard it is to paint over green? You have to know. That's tough. You
hard.
can't do it.
Hard.
Several coats of white.
Yeah.
Several.
And to then have it match the rest of the walls. Oh, man. So,
We would move. I mean, I'd move in with you to
Thank you.
to offset the rent when.
Fury versus
She'd kick me
Renounced,
out.
War Hungry versus Bitter End, Twitching Tongues versus Code Orange Kids, Mindset versus Boston Strangler. Which of these matchups, looking at it as we went in, this is like the pre-game show, which of these was the most interesting to you?
I actually found War Hungry and Bitter End to be the most interesting because, to my ear, that has the most direct crossover with each other. Like I thought. Now it turned out War Hungry.
Don't get too deep. Don't.
Okay, all right. That's
It turned out a little different.
That's the most interesting going into it.
Tom,
Like,
what
we
was
just
your...
started the show, man.
Sorry, I won't
on.
rush.
We're gonna put up the playoffs on the TV so you know how Boomer Esiason and shit would handle this. I'm gonna be what's the
taking it
guy
slow.
on Monday Night Football
Al Michaels?
No, like they call him like Cookie.
Chris Collinsworth?
No, the big dude that they leave like in the
Oh,
stands.
yeah.
There's a giant African American man that was a former football player that he's like in the crowd,
Giant, yeah.
but like
visible from any part
but
of
like
the
he's
stadium
got his
'cause he's
own
such a
sort
big
of
man?
seat, like but he's like right in front of like the 50-yard line
Yeah.
seats or whatever it is. I forget his name. It's Cookie or something funny like that.
Yeah.
You know what? My toughest or most interesting or toughest, both. The Mindset Boston Strangler.
Interesting. Okay.
I like both of those records a lot.
It definitely is. And I think that mine, because I actually agree with both of you, the Twitching Tongues versus Code Orange Kids records, from the outside looking in, I was like, I'm going to be curious about this. And the results were different than I might have expected, but then I might have been able to lean into it. So
I've got a couple what I perceive to be hot takes, but I don't know. Some of these records, I only have my perception of how they were received. So they maybe my takes are cold as fuck.
And I have some questions too about some of it. So I think we're going to get some real depth here today. Let's start from the top. Fury Paramount versus Renounced, Theories of Despair. Let's start with Fury. Who wants to jump in?
I mean, I like the record. I was thinking about it on the way over here. Nothing about it stands out exactly like, oh, this is a blank. This is just a very, 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 very well done hardcore record. It's not like nothing jumps out as like, Jeremy's trying to do this. They're trying to do that. Like it's just kind of like their own lane, but it's just incredibly well done.
So you might have mentioned this in a previous episode, and I have had blinders on when it comes to Fury because this record did not hit me the way it hit everybody else on earth. I think that the songs like In Extremis, for example,
Yes.
that's new age. That's not.
He did the real...
Pat did his homework.
He's trying to make up.
After 2018, he got real hurt that people didn't like his fucking list. Look at you.
People were like,
I would
Pat
to say
doesn't
track
like,
number
Pat
7
doesn't
in
like
Extremis.
music.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, he's flexing a
I
little bit.
love that shit. All right.
The ruckus is riding through.
My point is that I thought that.
No, you're right. Is new age.
I thought this band was purely in the.
Outspoken.
Yeah, like the early Rev / Youth Crew, like the pathway to Youth Crew. You know what I mean? But there's a couple actual heavy tracks on this.
Oh, yeah.
And what was interesting for me was, would I like this record more if it was just that?
Okay.
And I
Just
don't
heavy?
know if it was just that sort of heavy,
Like that
sort
song
of-
in The Extremis,
like
yeah.
that new age sort of heaviness.
Where it doesn't get too fast. It's a little more plotting.
Right.
Yep.
And actually pretty fucking hard. You know what I mean? So-
I think that it's crunchier than people realize. That's the one thing I think sets it apart from the Revelation stuff. It's, if you go back and listen to Rev 1 through 12 or 13 or whatever it is, outside of Judge, there's just not a whole ton of crunchiness in the guitars. No. And I say that it has crunchiness, but there's not many hints of metallic anything on the Fury record.
No.
Which is a hard thing.
Yeah. Because everybody wants to throw in a metal lead. You know what I mean? Like
Who doesn't want a mosh part? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's some mosh parts on
There
this.
are some mosh
But
parts.
I'm saying like a fucking ignorant,
Yeah.
like
They
where it gets quiet and you hear somebody go, woo!
So that's the part to me. Fury, everything about it to me has always been like, oh, this is a like Orange County Revelation uniform choice. Da 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 da. But musically, I put crunchier Turning Point LP ? Like with better production. And if you listen, Turning Point, man, their legend is rewritten. They were a second-rate Youth Crew-ish band. Now, lots of people love them.
Right.
But they're the band who was like, oh, they did a Youth Crew-ish 7-inch, and then did a straight up. The Turning Point LP should be a cornerstone of the new age sound. It's slower. It's got melodic parts. Even the weird slap bass, exclude that, but it's got
It's
a
a
more profound low end type thing
Right.
going on than any of the Rev stuff. And then they do the like way more melodic stuff, like the split 7-inch, the Behind This Wall Thursday stuff. But they were not like. Now I hear them mentioned in the same conversation as like Gorilla Biscuits and Youth of Today and
Yeah.
Judge and Turning Point's right there. And it wasn't
Never-
that way.
no.
And
Never.
now it is. I think part of that is a generation of kids who grew up with a band named Thursday and
Yeah.
it being like, oh, the Turning Point discography being readily available.
That helped.
So anyways, I went and listened to the Turning Point record because I was like, am I just doing this in my head? Musically, I put Fury somewhere in like Vision/Turning Point. They're not nearly as melodic as either.
No.
And a lot of that has to do with Jeremy's vocals. Harder vocals than I think
not
it's
as sing
credited.
songy as Dave Franklin
or Skip. You know, so I also said there are elements of Have Heart in the tempo, in the kind of song structures, but almost like they went in and Have Heart's like, yeah, like Strife stuff, and they'd still have some of the metallic stuff like Strife would have. And Fury's like, yeah, like Have Heart or Strife, but no metallic stuff.
Yeah.
And I could see how that would leave some people like wanting for it if they were listening, and also like how it creates something different. This was really interesting to me that I wanted to share. I shared it with Pat just before we got started. If your opinion, if you're a gentleman or gentlewoman of interest in the Revelation catalog, and you're maybe my age or older, 35 and older, you might assume like Fury would be a big listening band for you. You might be like, of current bands, you'd be like, yeah, Fury, they're great.
Close to the stuff that I love.
You would say, right? I would assume that too. Looking at Fury's fans also like on Spotify: Freedom, Praise, Forced Order, Eco Strike, Milspec, Rival Mob, Trail of Lies, Mindset, Abuse of Power, Distort, Outburst, Akulu, Misery, Mind Force, Unified Right, True Love, Magnitude, Regulate, Dead Heat, Day by Day. No old bands. No old bands. All current except for Outburst. Really odd.
That is odd. Yeah.
That they don't get, like, there's no new age bands. There's no rev bands.
Right.
You know? And I would have assumed there might be some people going from their playlist of WoW TNGB and throwing Fury on there. And I don't know. There just might not be crossover in an age range.
Or do you think it's just the age of people that are streaming as compared to like, if I like Gorilla Biscuits, I'm going home and listening to Start Today on Purple? You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good question.
I don't know.
Well, let me do this. Let me look up Gorilla Biscuits. I mean,
They won't be,
GB's
like-
getting plenty of streams.
Yeah, I
but,
might have a couple.
like someone like GB. Youth of Today, Minor Threat, Judge, Civ, Warzone, H2O, 7 Seconds, Floor Punch, Chain of Strength, 10-Yard Fight, Shelter, Chromax, Dag Nasty, Slapshot, Better Than 1,000, Bane, Uniform Choice, Strife, Have Heart, Agnostic Front. The only band here who isn't over 20 years old is Have Heart.
Wow.
This is something that I think I actually asked a friend about about a mutual friend who they were talking about some rev band, and one of them was like, yeah, I haven't listened to that band for a long time, like decade. And the other person was kind of taken aback by it. Right. And my question was like, do you think that person like has a deep listening palette? Like, are they listening to a lot of new music? Are they?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, totally. You know, this person. But that got me thinking in my head. I think there's people out there whose interaction with hardcore is just the classics or their classics.
Yeah.
So there's
sure.
people out there who are listening to GB, and it's literally like, yeah, after I listen to GB, I throw on Civ, and then this and this and this,
Right.
and it's all the classics. Would Fury appeal to that person?
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's why
I
I've
think so,
always
too.
posit the whole, like, as much as people like to shit on the reunion culture or like older bands and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, you put Fury in front of a Gorilla Biscuits crowd, they'll walk away winning over some of their fans.
They should, certainly.
But if they're playing with their same, same age range bands, that's what you're gonna, like that's why their Spotify is all bands that are still current. I feel like
And that's the
when
thing,
would they
that's
get
the
in front of
cross.
a Youth of Today crowd?
Well, and that's the cross too, is that
Right.
you throw it in reverse, and we kind of posit this a bit. Hardcore is kind of a like in the moment culture, or it has been in times. And you're not seeing many people looking back, at least on this, according to like the four fans also like. It's not, there's not a Youth of Today sprinkled in there. Outburst gets in there, which is interesting.
Revisionist.
But yeah, where is that? Why, like, is there?
it's interesting, yeah.
I think we're at a weird time where there is that pushback from both sides. I also have a hot take on reunions. We'll maybe have to touch on that. I am now okay with reunions, and if bands want to do it and ruin their legacy, it's their legacy to ruin. Go for it.
Wow.
Fury.
I feel triggered.
No,
No, I'm kidding.
you're an
We're not
example
a
of the
reunion
other,
band.
but you're
We're not a reunion.
Yeah, you've done
We've
it
been
right.
around for too long.
So, anyways, Fury Paramount. Yeah,
That's
I think
good record.
It's a good record. What were your thoughts? I mean, what did you think about it when you gave it?
This is
a
least
deep
in
listen?
your lane. So
Yeah, I mean, this and War Hungry are both kind of, in principle, hard sells to me. But I liked it better this time than in previous listens. Found more to appreciate. And moreover, I really enjoyed the production. And if this ends up winning out over Renounced, which is a type of music I actually enjoy more, it will be because of the production.
I think the production. I also think the flow of the record is exceptional. I think it moves very well from song to song, which is awesome. You know, and not always true of bands in the genre.
No.
So
I have a question. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really part of the tournament, but we're talking core. Why is a band like Fury? I always find it not strange. That's a weird term. But why are bands like Fury, or like there's certain bands that people outside of like their purview, there's certain bands that people latch onto.
yeah,
Fury's one of them. Say it was like fucked up before they got weird,
sure,
or
sure,
like fucking See You Next Tuesday was that grindcore band that like every norm person liked for whatever the fucking reason. Why? Like, what about Fury makes them stand out? That, you know, people that aren't necessarily all about new age revelation, all that sort of stuff, latch onto them, and now they're a run for cover band. Like, what about them? Kind of.
I've got the hottest take.
Because I mean, I think they're great. There's a lot of great hardcore bands. Like,
I
why?
agree.
What about them particularly? Is there like?
I have a few things, but Patrick, give
Sure.
your hot take.
Marketing.
Well, you could say marketing. I think marketing's the cold way.
Yeah.
But I could say
It's cold, but I know those dudes, so
yeah,
they can
they
take
get it. But I would say if you pull the marketing out and say the natural things, Fury's a cool name. Simple. Cool little logo. Again, a thing
Sure.
that people can hook onto.
Memorable cover.
Memorable cover. Very memorable and
Yeah, I can
neat.
picture
And
it
they,
right now.
you know, kind of have an aesthetic to their thing.
People
And-
picked up the record thinking it was Fury 66. Not really.
Or the pre-Swizz Fury, you know.
There was, yes, sure.
Who apparently they had some conversations and made sure everything's
No way.
kosher. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Now, all that said, they also are top of the pops for the genre. So
Oh,
that's
they're
kind of always a
fantastic.
thing.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean?
No, that
Like,
makes
so
sense.
I think when you combine those things,
Yeah.
it makes sense to me. If you want my real opinion too, I don't think, and they've done some big tours, which also helps get the name out
Sure,
there.
sure,
They've
sure.
done turnstile tours,
Power Trip.
and and mixed bill tours. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, a Power
they
Trip
haven't.
is
I think we'll
mixed.
get to a couple bands here where I'm like, oh, if you guys mixed build it, it might be more interesting for
Sure.
your long term legacy. But I think those things, the aesthetic, the placement, and if you want it to be called marketing,
Right, but like you said, they're that good that they're
that good.
The cream
you know,
rises sort of thing.
exactly. Like fucked up. There could have been 18 bands who
there have been.
came from that world who who could have gotten some of the love that they did, but they didn't because fucked up had the whole package. They had a funky name that immediately strikes, a logo that was striking, and an adherence to an aesthetic. And of that, like especially their earlier stuff, they were the top. They were what they were.
Yeah.
Fury Paramount, cool record.
Very good record.
Now, on to a record we have talked about a little bit
Yes.
before, but I went and deep dived it again. Renounced Todd, Theories of Despair.
They have not broken up. They are recording a new record. I am out of touch sometimes, and Renounced and Repentance. They're both from the UK. I probably fucked up the name.
One broke up, one didn't. Renounced didn't, right? We think. So we're good.
Sorry, fellas.
Theories of Despair. Thoughts? This is your alley.
It is. Although this is a little bit further in one direction than like maybe
glitzy part of the alley?
Maybe my pure lane. You know what I mean? It's a little to one side.
What side is that?
Well, like I think we referenced Poison the Well when we were talking about this band.
Didn't we?
I think so.
Well, it's funny how many people talk. Well, I'll get, yeah.
That's technically stuff that I don't really touch. Like I'll allow people to think it is like for the purposes of like, you know, like if they're on,
If you're feathering your hair, you're like, yeah, I listen to Poison the Well.
No,
Whatever,
but like,
man.
You know, like when people are like, if somebody's listening to this and wants to dismiss my opinion, they can assume, I don't mind. You know what I mean? They can assume that I listen to something that they don't like or whatever. But like,
They assume that.
yeah.
I did this fair song.
But some of that stuff was just too far afield for me. And
Poison the Well was too far afield.
Too far afield.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're one of my favorites of that.
I know, and everybody's told me to go back and listen to the records that I didn't give a fair shot, and I should. You know,
You should. You might like it. They're more artistic.
Yeah, but those type of bands doing artistic tend to lose me, and I should say, Renounced does not do that. You know what I mean?
They don't lose you.
It's straightforward. It's not. There's not too many flourishes of like, hey, let's be an art band. There's none of that.
No, there's some cleaner parts, but none of the nothing too esoteric. I feel like this band would have been fucking huge in 2001.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
If they were from the States, might have helped, but like I just feel like their sound is really coherent for this style.
Yeah.
yeah. They're just really good at what they do. Like
Very, very
it's like, and that's kind of what made this conversation. This matchup is interesting in the respect that I know it's a hot Fury. That Fury record matters to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if I go against it, it's a hot take no matter what.
Right.
But then I had to weigh, and I get it. I get that the people feel strongly about it, but like, and in the U.S., it's hard to get anybody to feel strongly about a UK band. So like, Renounced would be definitely the outlier as illustrated by the fact that they're the 64 seed.
Yep.
So I get that, but both are really good at what they attempt to be. You
I
know
think
what
that's
mean?
definitely
Undeniable.
and I think it's so Renounced would be the furthest from my lane, right? I picked a track before. I think I picked the song Theories of Despair. I picked tracks for every record. My standout track on Fury is Dance, which is the first record, their first song, DANSE. For Renounced, this time around, I picked Abandon Your King, which is maybe the fourth or fifth track, and it opens with this really clean, like airy, soft sound, and then transition into something pretty hard. They have lots of parts, but transition exceptionally well for this genre. Really move well through different parts.
It's not riffarama.
Not riffarama.
It's not like stop Newport. I hate that. Yeah.
Right. And there's some bands who are doing that I think it might be more intentional, like than my brain processes. But they do this sound really well. During that Abandon Your King, I was like, oh, this sounds like something if you're in college, a girl might put on to like be like, oh, this is cool. And then it goes too hard to make out to. So, I think the vocals are really strong on this. The singer's cadence touches on rhythmic parts, but never quite to bouncy. And he steers clear from rapping, which, because the production on this record is pretty big and it's clean, I think helps keep it rooted in the sound I think they want. Like, after we talked about this band on the Bubble, people who like this kind of stuff really discovered this. If you like Trust Kill Records, if I say, do you like Trust Kill Records? And your answer is yes, then you really should check this record out.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, like a lot of people, chimed in, people that, friendly with, that pointed out bands are like, oh, this reminds me of fucking Misery Signals or Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. I go, that's awesome. I don't like any of those bands, and I really like this record.
Yeah.
Those bands, I mean, no offense to it, but they never really struck me as anything that I enjoyed. It was like a little bit too much.
I straight up can't make sense of Misery Signals. I've tried every 5 years.
Humongous.
People love them. Means
Love
the
it.
world to a lot of people.
Yeah,
I
very important
straight
band
up
for
can't
people.
make sense of it.
No, I think this is like, as for like real deal, like metalcore as us older folk think of it, this is as good as it gets for that kind of genre in the 2000s. Well, 2010 and on.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think this is so well done. It's really smart. It's not like too ogreish. It's not too steakhead.
No.
It's
No, but
really,
but there's
really
parts that
good.
get hard.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
so,
But it's not like only that. I think it's like, I mean, I'd go to as far to say it was like criminally overlooked, at least in the States.
Yeah.
I think
It could have been
think-
a huge band in the UK and mainland for as far as we know.
I
have
don't
no
think
idea.
that's wrong to say. I think there are people who knew them and loved them and did champion them here. But on the whole, like, even just like I said, after we did that episode and talked about it, we got tons of feedback of people like, "Holy shit, I
where
love this
was I
record!
at?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how did I miss this?"
Because how many hundreds of records came out in the last couple of years, and it's easy to
And particularly, there's also old heads find it hard to plug into smaller releases. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Smaller releases are just not
you have to hit a certain level for it to resonate for older people.
right. Just because their ear isn't to the railroad tracks nearly as much as maybe a young person that's got more time on their hands.
And this record came out in 2016. I'm going to do the years for you.
2016, yeah, it'd be helpful. But I think it's it's an excellent record. If you like heavy hardcore, that's not like beat down. It's not like tech metal. It's just fucking good.
I think calling this like clear cut metalcore, like, and smart. I think smart is a good word for it, but it's not mathy. It's just really well put together.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So let's say what it's not.
I mean, this is so not in Bob's lane, and Bob liked it.
Recognized
right? Which is fine. I mean, this stuff, that's not in all of our lanes that we can go like, this is really like, you can do that with Fury. Bob could do that with
everything's nailed in terms of like,
so well done.
The production is that's kind of why I said that about the vocals, because the production is pretty clean. And if you were like, Bob, make a metalcore record for yourself, I would typically go, you got to give me a recording at dead air, and it can be metallic and it can be shitty, and I'll look at it more chaotic wise. But this is a really clear recording, and they do a great job with it. It just comes off the right way. Like it feels very intentional and thought out.
Yep.
Paramount came out in 2016 as well.
And British accents are cooler than anything else.
Let's say what it's not. It's not Turmoil. It's not Botch. It's not Coalesce. It's not Tribunal. I think when you said Trustkill, that's probably like if you took the marquee Trustkill releases and mashed them together, that's probably what this is closest to for people at home.
Okay.
There's parts of this that make me think of if the dudes from Cave In. Now, I know they eventually went back to a more heavy sound on something.
They teased at it.
Right. I wonder what would have happened had they done some sort of supergroup in 2002 or 3 and still had a little bit of the like, oh, this is going to come out on our major, but we were asked to do a more aggressive project, so we enlisted some friends, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like this came out. It's smart, it's well thought out, it's put together, but I really, it's a cool record.
Highly recommended. We voting?
Yeah, we got to vote now.
The tribunal must vote.
I'm real torn on this.
Me too.
Okay, I'll vote first. Fury.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a very, very tough one. But, all right, so here's my question.
Yeah.
Clark Kellogg over here.
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Bob Kellogg.
Okay.
Are we voting for who we think is going to win?
No, you're voting for yourself. Vote personally.
So that's the only difference between this and
that's the thing is that we want to
do,
because it's the same deal, is like we want to encourage people to vote with what you personally feel.
Right.
Because we want everyone to vote for that.
Right.
Because
nobody wants 1, 2, 3, and 4 as
nobody
the
wants
last
you to
4.
tell you like, oh, this is the best one, but I like this better. Well, motherfucker, if you like it better, then vote for that one.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go Fury. Tough. Like, it's going to be like 3 seconds left.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy hits a 3-pointer from the corner to win.
So
I think he plays hoops, by the way.
Oh, good. All right. Well,
okay.
We need somebody on. We needed a point guard. We're all height.
So here's actually, maybe this is where my hot take comes in.
Pat's hot take.
I like Renounced sound better.
Yeah.
Fury might have more standout tracks. But whereas Bob likes the production on the Renounced record, I really prefer the production on the Fury Fury record. Like,
I mean, production. Yeah, I mean, I prefer that. I just don't. I'm happy with what Renounced did.
Yeah. Because I mean, think of how many records that were pretty decent in the last couple of years that it's like you couldn't have gone for an extra $1,000 and got a better recording. So I mean, it's like when it's something that's this well done, you're kind of you're taking it back almost.
No,
like,
I agree. I think there's also something with intentionality. We're going to talk about another record that treads in the same pool, if we're talking an Olympic-sized pool, as Fury. But production-wise and some of the cues they're taking, not like studio, like quality is there, but some of the direction and what they wanted sonically is really different, and I'm going to make that comparison when we get there. But yeah, Fury has a very distinct production sound.
I'm going to go Renounced in part because now it is safe to say that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Your
fern died.
Yeah, people. Yeah. Well, I think no. I think they're supposed to die, aren't they? Like, you're not supposed to keep this alive, are you? I think it's just a.
You're not supposed to keep living things alive.
Hasn't been any water in there for a minute.
Oh, I thought that was just palms. Is that like an actual plant in there?
Well,
shit.
You get some water in there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our first bracket today.
So that's the first one, and as in the bubble, we picked a winner. Here, we're not picking a winner. We're just giving you our votes because you're going to go vote on this after you listen to these two records.
Sure.
All right, so Patrick is watering the fern. Yeah. Let's dive into the next two matchups. Next two, War Hungry, self-titled, released in 2011, versus Bitter End, Guilty as Charged, released in 2010, which is earlier than I thought. Because Illusions of Dominance was 2015.
That makes sense.
I believe. So
damn, 8 years ago.
Man,
time flies.
I mean, that makes sense to me. That War Hungry record feels like it's been around forever.
No, it has been. Yeah.
Yeah, Guilty as Charged was 2010, and Illusions of Dominance is 2015. Bitter End has 2 entries in the tournament, with both Guilty as Charged and Illusions of Dominance making it. Let's start with Bitter End.
I love this record, and Heresy. I like this record more than Climate of Fear.
Wow.
I really do. I think that this is like a very hard record. I think this is a hard record. I'm really game for this.
I'm going to salsa your take and say I like Illusions of Dominance more than this record.
Oh,
whoa. I see your hot take, and I raise a hotter take.
Holy God. Wow.
He just threw $10,000 worth of chips at you right there.
Yeah, he did.
At the Bellagio. Ocean's 13.
Bet.
Yeah.
Yo, this is Daniel Rosen getting in his Anthony Comunale bag.
Yeah.
This is very Killing Time. And
for sure.
Now, so here's what I would say about this record. I think it's a little too long. It lost me a little bit towards the end. And that's true of a few of these records, actually.
A few of maybe all of them.
Yes, correct. I actually, of them, maybe Twitching Fury moved pretty well. The Twitching Tongues record lost me a little bit at the end, but moved pretty well. And the rest, I did find myself going, I would clip. This record is the Killing Time record I think they should have written in 1993.
So this should have been like a shit can happy hour. And it should have been, got it.
And like maybe they recruited one of the guitar players from Marauder to come help do a little riffing. Sure. You still get Daniel Rosen doing his vocals, but I feel like he's really channeling Comunale. My standout track was the title track, Guilty as Charged. And when you listen to it, if you don't hear Killing Time, I'm like, oh my God. It's
Do you think
so
he has one of the more pronounced and like most identifiable singing styles in hardcore?
Yeah, because we've talked about it a bunch.
I love it.
Jumping off things.
Very like Billy Biohazard and Anthony Comunale.
Yeah, so he's in his bag. This is probably my least favorite of the 3 Bitter End LPs.
Really?
But that's saying something because they have 3 New York hardcore style LPs that are all really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any other band who can really say that.
Of New York hardcore bands?
Yeah.
Madball.
Well, yes. Sorry to the gods. But outside of Madball, like maybe Murphy's Law, you could make an argument. AF, true.
Maybe non-New York hardcore bands. How's that?
Yes. And the Killing Time comparisons on this were so strong, I said, Iron Age is the Texas Cro-Mags. Bitter End is then the Texas Killing Time.
I 100% see that.
Now, I was struggling because I didn't know where to place Power Trip.
Are they Best Wishes?
I know. Well, so's Iron Age. I don't know. They're more than that, though. You know what I mean? They're better. They like it feels.
They're Anthrax. They didn't try to steal the New York hardcore symbol.
Or they could be Madball, not sonically. That's the problem. Not sonically, but with the like level of consistency and duration.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll figure out Power Trip. They're a whole nother beast.
Yes.
Go into this because you love this record.
I do.
And have for a long. You've been a champion of this. Kind of weirdly and quietly, but you love on this record publicly all the time.
I do. I think it's hella underrated. I think Climate of Fear set a really high standard that this band has kind of lived in the shadow of, but very unfairly because Bob thinks Illusions of Dominance is high tier. I don't disagree, although I put this one above it. But it's all good. You know?
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's so consistent.
So this record does that thing that I can't say for very many, which is like, okay, is it over long? Yeah, we could say all hardcore records are. But each song has a part that I think is utterly perfect and makes the song pop. So like the song Unjust, does it become like the second half of the song, is it maybe a little bog standard? You could argue, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a part early in it that in isolation is just a perfect part. And is that how you write songs? No, but it does make it so each song has something to go back to.
Right.
So like there's even like, I want to say like a 4-minute long interlude song on this.
Sueños Madres.
Sueños Matros. And for me to ride with that, when I think that all hardcore LPs are overstuffed, for me to ride with a fucking 4-minute long fucking Spanish guitar part,
guitar. That's them reminding you they're from the land of kolaches and breakfast tacos.
I was shocked how much I was in. Like today when I was like, okay, what are my feelings on each of these records? And I was like, I didn't mind a 4-minute fucking interlude.
Yo, I thought that was a cool highlight and like a real like. There's a couple of these records that get regional. That's the regional. Like, yeah, we aren't from New York. We're from Texas,
Right.
and it was cool.
Yeah.
So I'm with this record, obviously, but I think that I want to talk about lyrics. We didn't talk about it with Fury. We didn't talk about it with Renounced because even if they're good at what they do, they're kind of in a lane, each in their own lane, but very strongly. Bitter End is also, but what Bitter End does, I think, better than any band we're going to discuss today, the lines are very, very strong, and in part because of his voice, right? In part because he
his
delivers.
delivery is great.
But individual lines are memorable and hard and cool, and so that's why this record is top tier to me.
Yeah. I think very few hardcore bands that exist in the last 10, 15 years have like kind of perfected their formula so well that no matter what this band does, it's going to be good.
Yes.
Like I couldn't tell you maybe song 7 on this record from song 2 on this one. It all kind of, it's one kind of big, great song.
Yeah.
But they're so good at it. No matter what it is, even if you're hearing it for the first time or the 100th time, it's still so good. It's like it is so locked in on what their style is that no matter what they do, it's good. It's there's very few hardcore bands out there these days that have that kind of they see, you know, they have their vision, they kind of they do whatever they do to meet that, and it's no matter what it is, it's always fucking so good. And I love his vocal delivery. I think that makes him stand out more than almost anything, quite honestly. The music's great, you know, but there are a ton of, you know, non-New York hardcore bands.
Yeah.
But I feel like nobody sounds like Daniel. Like he could be singing on a fucking Memphis Mayfire fucking song.
Yeah, he should get more guest spots, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like you could totally be like, oh shit, that's Daniel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cool thing that I actually noted was that the title track of the record is the second song. But the first song is like Big Fist or something. I don't know what it's called.
Corrupted Soul.
There we go. It's like it's a punch in the face. It's you start the record and boom, here it is.
Yep.
And then the title track is that's my standout track, but it's a more fully formed song. But they come at you. This is you can tell they came off of Climate of Fear, and we're like, okay, we need to do a cool record here. And while I like Climate of Fear a little more, I can't say it's more fully formed than this. I just think that I like the tracks.
Yes.
I'm with what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's fine.
you know what I mean? Okay. Any other thoughts on that before we move on?
No.
All right. War Hungry, self-titled.
I have to confess, this was, I don't want to say immensely popular. That would probably be saying too much. But
Might be overstating it.
This was feverishly.
That's the right
admired.
way to put it. Cultishly, feverishly admired.
Your favorite band's favorite band?
Yeah,
Quite often?
Yeah.
Quite often.
I mean, that's
So
what it seems like. I mean,
on guitar on this, Arthur Rizek. So the dude who's now recording or producing all your favorite bands' records. Oh yeah. Anyone with a metal lean is going to Arthur to say, "Hey, what should we do with these guitars,
No
bro?"
shit. Okay.
Oh yeah. What did you think of it, Tom?
I thought it was cool. I never really paid much attention to it in the beginning, when it was out, I guess. It's, you know, I feel like it's they might have been early on the Life of Agony, slow kind of plodding, singy, ghost thingy thing before a lot of folks did it. It was cool. It didn't really. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. Like, it was fine. I don't know if I'd go back to it. No,
So in line with that, I actually was shocked at how good I thought it was.
This is where your Albany one was coming out, because I was going to assume that
Straight
you'd
Albany.
never heard this ever.
No, I don't think I did.
No.
I avoided it.
This scratch your like Section 8 itch.
No, here's the deal. And controversial. This is a hot take. This is not a hardcore record. This is a metal record.
Oh, it is a metal record.
And
By
it
hardcore
is. It is.
Yeah.
In line with that, very arm's length. This is not like Bitter End, which says, "Get in the pit." It says, "Jump over me." You know what I mean? This record does not say that. This record has
aloof.
It's a little bit more aloof.
That's an interesting thing. I would say, and this is something I want us to be, because we're going to talk about another record shortly. I don't know why we're scared not to call things that aren't hardcore not hardcore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because people in the bands, I mean, not saying that this drives us in any way, but like people get offended.
Oh yeah.
It's like, no,
People
we're a
get
fucking
offended.
hardcore band. Like,
I
yo,
know,
big,
I get
you're
it.
not a hardcore band.
I know,
man.
well,
Like,
and it's the thing is, I get it, because there's
the guy from Stick Together is in this band. It's not like
no, exactly.
he's not some
There's-
weird
there's-
Hessian that's like
right. And War
I like
Hungry, if you
hardcore
listen
too.
to the earlier EPs, definitely way more hardcore.
Right.
This record is a funny one because you're right. There was a lot of talk about it, but it wasn't a record that sold 1 billion copies. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't. If I'm going to be real, I don't think it sold out of the first press. I think you might
put
still
this
be
out?
6 feet under.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't hear. They definitely are in the world of like Life Agony
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
But
not
I hear
exact.
more. What I said is this is a band who ton of Sabbath riffs, ton of dirgy. Like there's some bluesy kind of stuff
Yeah.
they're trying to go for. They could play a hardcore show, or they could play a stoner. Or they could play with Electric Wizard. You know what I mean? I'm always surprised live when they play, even to this day, how much of a live reaction they get.
a lot of mosh.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who go in for any part that they have that's a kind of like a little chunkier or chuggier, they go for it. But I'm like, man, to me, this is straight, like, this is headbang music.
Yeah.
This standout track to me was Empire of Idols 1, because it's just riffy as hell.
Agreed.
And it's kind of showcases it. Though the song before that, which is a track Shift, he actually gets bouncy in his voice, the cadence, and I like that part in a weird way because it's unique. I haven't listened to this record in a very long time and enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. But it's not a hardcore record.
No.
Like, I don't listen to it. When I'm listening to it, it's the same way like Iron Age Sleeping Eye. That's a metal record to me. It's got like more Iron Age Constant Struggle. That's a hardcore record. Iron Age Sleeping Eye, it's got slower. It's got a lot more like, there's more crunch on it than say this War Hungry record. But like, I'm not going to it for that. If I'm listening to this, it's because I want to listen to a heavy record, not in the mosh heavy, but like heavy, like there's a low end, like do 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 do. Like our buddy Justin with the voice. He's got that heavy low end.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I did think, I was like, I bet Pat hasn't heard this record. I didn't know if you had either.
I hadn't, oddly enough.
But I was wondering if your weird scum metal lean would do it. But you don't fuck with a lot of like Black Sabbath or stoner stuff, because that's where I see it, as I lean it more to like the because they slow it down and dirge a bunch.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so I'm gonna say that when maybe not when I first moved to New York, but not long thereafter, there was a scene for the poser version of this stuff that was pretty popular for a minute.
Yeah.
And it was very distasteful. You know what I mean? But this is, to my ear, less cloying than that. It's not. It's not begging me to love it. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not gimmicky at all. So, what I can say is that there are records in this tournament that, even though I don't love this would beat those records for me. I thought this was good.
Interesting.
It's just it can't go up against Bitter.
No,
I'm jumping ahead.
Now, you also made the comparison when we started that you thought this and War Hungry were much more sonically similar.
This and Bitter End. Yeah.
Bitter End, yeah, sorry. After listening,
no. I mean, they are.
There's some, certainly.
They are. It's a you're gonna find more guitars in common between this and Bitter End than you are, Fury and Renounced, and I would honestly, actually, I won't. Yes, I think that there are still more similarities than our other contestants, but they're different types of things.
Yeah, and if this record had been up against Twitching Tongues, I'd actually be interested in the crossover and fan base on both, because I don't know.
So that's interesting.
You know, I don't know, because you made the Life Agony, and there's not a ton of Life Agony in Twitching Tongues, but like you go one step to the left and you get to Twitching Tongues, and you go one step to the right and you get War Hungry, basically.
Like War Hungry is Troy, and Twitching Tongues is Brooklyn.
There you go.
Oh, interesting. I like
Carnivore, Hypo Negative.
The Hibernian Hall versus Lemoore's
That's true. It's true.
in a battle for the ages.
that. Some guy is writing a New York hardcore book about 1990 and on.
I can't wait to get avoided, not mentioned at all.
I was going to say, have you been reached out to? Because
No.
if you haven't, all right, I'm going to see what I can do about that. Because you should be.
what would we? I mean,
Come on, chopped liver? It's nobody I know, but we
won't get included.
we'll get.
It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just be the band that
Yeah.
The band
Drew
just
all the
keeps
people.
killing it. Yeah. All right.
It's cool. Whatever. It's fine.
So let's make our
Take
picks.
this out. I don't wanna-
And we did do a quick thing where we talked about making our picks. We think it's cool. We want
Yeah, we don't wanna-
don't pick based on what we pick on. You're lame
No,
if you do that,
no,
but
no,
what is your selection, Tom?
My selection is Bitter End, but I'm going to revisit War Hungry more going forward. And it might turn me.
Check the song Shift. And then the song Empire of Idols one, and see how those two on an
It might be a
isolated
walking
level.
around record.
Yeah, I think it is. And their earlier stuff, they did a 7-inch that the very first one. Then they did a 7-inch on 1917 Return to Earth. And actually, that's really good. More hardcore than this.
Yeah, because I watch videos of them. I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. I think
And then the record
I think
is kinda
all that
cool,
stuff would hit you better. The first 7-inch, I think the production's kind of It's like 2005, 6, maybe somewhere.
Now, was this a side project, and then it became his main deal, or was it reverse?
No, this was Hoodrack, Mook, a couple other guys. I think Arthur joined at some point, but this was a band. Like they toured, did full US stuff.
Right, but like, did it become like his main deal?
For Hoodrack?
Yeah, like I. Feel like,
yeah, it was his main band, but then Stick
was his band
Together
before
started.
this?
This was his first band.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
And he roadied for Cold World, like they
it.
were kind of
Okay.
like they did a split with Cold World. So Patrick, your pick?
Bitter End, can't beat them.
And my pick is War Hungry. The Bitter End record is good. It's my least favorite of their LPs, which is saying a lot because
Right.
it's still a very good record. And I actually will revisit it a bit because I liked some of the flavor on it. But the War Hungry record brings just something different to the table. And I actually really go in for a lot of that kind of stuff, but I've been burnt on it for a while. So listening to this felt really fresh. All right. Woo. How we doing? Halfway done.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Pat's cheating. He's got his iTunes up because he downloaded all these records illegally from Saddam 518.
He really did, actually. 2 of them.
He's looking at them like-
two of them I did. No, you know what I'm looking at? A contestant happened to text me while we're doing this.
Oh, excellent.
And
I know who it probably could
and has
be.
definite opinions. So we'll get to that.
Well,
we'll keep
person,
them.
you only know 2 of the contestants.
Keep the conversation going because there's some questions for him.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think he's up next.
Twitching Tongues, In Love, There Is No Law, 2013. I actually thought it was before that. Which is funny.
Been around all that long.
They did a first single maybe in 2011.
Preacher Man or whatever.
No, Sleep Therapy.
Sleep Therapy. That's right. That's maybe 2011. Twitching Tongues, In Love, There Is No Law, 2013. Code Orange Kids, Love Is Love, 2012. Who put out In Love, There Is No Law? It's some weird label, isn't it?
Is it Closed Casket?
No.
I think it is.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't think Closed Casket put
Closed
out
Casket
the first.
did In Love There. That's right. Sleep Therapy is the one I'm thinking of, which was Dirty Mick Records.
There you go.
That was In Love There's No Law on Closed Casket. Man,
Early on in the CCA.
Long relationship there.
might be one of my favorite Closed Casket releases.
100%.
Nice.
2013. Yeah, cool record. Which of the two is...
So Jamie just hit me.
That is who I wanted.
That's not who I thought it would be.
Because I want to know when the last time he listened to this record is and if he has thoughts on it.
And can you text Taylor and or Colin
I thought about doing that.
and kind of have like a... Can we have a group text with Jamie, Colin, Taylor?
I mean, it might be too slow to reply on this particular podcast, but yeah, they. Jamie, do we want Jamie's?
Let's
hot
do
take?
love is love. Yeah.
Okay. Jamie's hot take is first he graciously asks to be DQ'd from the tournament, but but when I told him that's not happening,
He's got 3 records in it.
he personally thinks that the Twitching Tongues record is better than this Code Orange record.
Ask him when the last time he listened to this record is. Last time he listened to it, and
Would they ever play any of these songs live ever again?
well, yeah. Let's talk about Code Orange Kids. Then we'll start there. The track I picked, I think it's maybe the second song. They had weird titles on all this. Around My Neck / On My Head. Into the next song, which is Sleep, parentheses, I'm Slipping. There's a really neat transition between those two songs. Like a weird, fast drum beat that kind of slows down into the song Sleep. A neat production thing that I haven't heard. I don't think I've heard that on another hardcore or hardcore adjacent record. No.
And this was Death Wish.
This is on Death Wish. This is their first release on Death Wish.
Wow.
So, who do you want me to start?
Sure. I think you'll let
Let's do this.
Yeah.
It sounds young.
Yes.
Your text buddy sounds young.
And this is when? 2012.
12.
How old are they now, would you say? If you had to guess? 27?
No, maybe
No,
25.
25
Yeah.
would be my guess.
Fuck. So,
Right.
So they were
18,
literal
19 years
kids.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's chaotic. But what I would say, I, as well as many others, have decried this. Like, yo, you guys changed genre from this into I'm King. And I don't even know if they would totally fight that. But I think if you listen, you can find some of the underpinnings that lead into what they do on I Am King.
I was going to say that myself.
And I don't think I would have given it credit for that before. But doing a deep listen, you can hear it. The transitions still suffer, but there's some cool elements. And I think it's just kind of the same deal that I have problems with on all of their material, is I think the transitions are intentionally abrupt. I said this is abrupt music for the most part until it's the absolute opposite, because there's actually a totally like atmospheric interlude song, Clouds from Nothing, that I think has the dude from Tiger Jaw singing on it. But like, it's abrupt. It's in form. It feels like it has much more in common with something like industrial music than anything else, even at this stage where they're fast. This dude is a superior drummer. Like, I don't know, like, I think we have said it. I don't know that he gets credit for it the way he should. He actually has a very good fast beat and can go from a gallop to a blasting fast beat to something heavier in a way that I don't think a lot of drummers can. And a lot don't try. And he does it well.
While singing.
The record loses me. It feels long. Even though I don't think it's technically super long, but and the other thing I said was it sounds like a Death Wish record. It sounds very Death Wish of the time. I'm not going to make the Converge comparison, but there's a lot of those elements of chaotic. This isn't a Screamo record though. I'll say that.
No.
They toured with a lot of that kind of stuff at this point, and that might have just been for lack of place to fit in, you know.
Did you tour with them around this time?
No, I don't think we did.
They did this four-way split with them.
Right, yeah.
Which, as we've discussed, is a weird four-way split between Tiger's Jaw, The World is a Beautiful Place, Code Orange, and Self Defense Family.
That's right.
Odd little four-way split.
For sure.
So I don't love this record at all, but there were interesting elements to it, and you want a hot take on it?
Yep.
I think it might have more in common with Forever than I Am King does.
It is a hot take.
Woo, it's hot now.
Here's my take. I thought, okay, I like Code Orange as a band better, but I think that the Twitching Tongues release blows this Code Orange record out of the water.
Yes.
And then I listened. This Code Orange release is much better than I remember.
100%.
Because I really like I Am King, and I really like like Forever. But this stuff I do not recall feeling as warmly about as on the revisit. Do I need every track? No. It's rare that I need a 4-minute track. Period. But there is a track in the middle of this record called Nothing that could have been like a, filler track or throwaway or something like that. And then it comes in with these very clever parts that are also hard. And I said, it's hard to take anything away from this band. You know what I mean? It really is. So I think I still lean In Love, There Is No Law in this particular matchup. But this this band, there's no... Look.
Super competent.
Yeah, there's people that don't like this band. I know that. There's no denying that they've shown improvement and they showed promise early on and improvement the whole fucking way. So like this had a lot of potential. You know what I mean? Like I know that for some people this is the end. They just like this. They don't like anything else. But like for me, this is like better. This is just better than I recall.
Now, do you think, I was thinking about that myself, do you think couching it with their other releases, it kind of makes, to me, it makes more sense now. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is like a clear like progenitor to like what was coming next.
Yeah.
And I think, while it's not as, say, like some of the parts aren't as like, maybe a different recording of this record might make it more like flow, make it more, easily connected to the other stuff.
Yes.
I feel like this recording is not meant to be like, it's going to fucking rattle your fucking speakers off the table. But it's not that much different from the other stuff. Does sound young.
Yes.
Very, but it definitely, you can say like with that foresight, you can kind of, see like, oh shit, you could totally see where they were going at the time. Like you said, like I listened to it. It was cool back then. It was, I thought they were a basement band that wasn't, going to become the fucking band that they became. Yeah. But it was cool. It was awesome to see young people playing good shit. But I think like this sort of like in retrospect with all these records as one, 3 LP unit, you can be like, oh fuck it. You can totally see where it's going.
I wonder how much the mentality shifted between the time they recorded this record and the time they went to go record I Am King. Because this feels like, hey guys, let's go record a record, versus I Am King being like, yo, let's go record this, and like the idea that they're going in to record a banger. Yeah. And like, that's why I said that. I think this has more in common with Forever in terms of there seems to be a lot of and I wouldn't take this away from Forever even, but like they're taking a lot of chances, they're experimenting, the competency there is there, and they're able to navigate a lot of experimentation. And if you were to follow the flow, the curious part to me is the idea of, okay, so they did this Love Is Love record, and the next thing was I Am King. Yeah. And then they did Forever. And we're making the connection from I Am King into Forever. And perhaps we should be looking at it as Love Is Love into I Am King, Forever into whatever the next one. If you want to be a Code Orange optimist, that's what you say, is that they took Love Is Love and were like, and figured out what they wanted with I Am King. And it just, everything got turned up, everything got tuned down, heavier and more cohesive, and boom. And it's not to say Forever is like, oh, what are they doing? I don't think that's, people who like that record a lot. Yep. But if you were to think what they're doing Forever is now a precursor to what comes next, that's where I go and look back at what Love Is Love is. Right.
And if that EP is any indication.
Exactly. So what do you got? You got any insider shit here or what?
You don't refrigerate
some real artist to artist shit?
No, I'm afraid to call Jamie because I know his takes are going to be scorching hot. There's going to be a lot of editing.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he gets back to us on the text. He said call me if you're going to be discussing my record. But his takes are going to be too fucking hot.
Yeah, it's too hot for the phone.
I don't got the time to edit that.
No, too hot for the phone.
So going into this Twitching Tongues release.
Let's go Twitching Tongues. Yeah. In Love, There Is No Law.
Now, this is too long for me, straight up. But this is also... And this does feel young by comparison to where they've gone since, for sure.
Yeah.
But they also have some fully formed songs that are fucking... Like, does it sound... This is what was interesting to me with both these releases. Sounding young... is not a crime to a lot of people in hardcore.
Especially in hardcore.
That's the goal. You know what I mean? Like we know dudes that are our age that are still chasing a young sound, and that's sometimes the goal. But for me, I think I always prefer that mature space, right? That where people arrive versus where they started. This is a good place to start, though. This is pretty strong.
Their best record, right?
Yeah. This is my favorite record of this episode.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I like this record a whole lot.
I know you do. I know.
I stand for this.
I think I don't know what the A-side, B-side breakdown is, but the first 4 or 5 tracks or whatever. I mean, I guess if you end it Preacher Man, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that?
World War V? Someone's getting punched.
World War V is pretty fucking hard.
There's an opening song, In Love There's No Law, World War V, another song, Preacher Man.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
Banger, 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 banger.
So
it's Eyes Adjust, In Love, which is
dude, that's a good song.
Yep.
In Love There Is No Law, which is a banger. World War V, banger. Good Luck is not the same level of banger. And then Preacher Man, banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, my track is either In Love There's No Law or Preacher Man. I think that's probably true for most people.
Conceptually, Preacher Man is there. You know what I mean? Like, it's there.
Yeah, I think In Love There Is No Law is my favorite song on this record. Mm-hmm. But Preacher Man is like the song that people get weird to.
All right.
And World War V is where people mosh their faces off. And I like that it's a nod to Carnivore.
Yeah.
Carnivore held World War 3 and 4.
Yeah.
This is World War 5.
Yeah.
I love it.
Can I play what my audio? So first and foremost, I actually, while I don't think of myself as a fan of this band, really, these songs, one, I knew them and liked them, and the first part of this record is almost undeniable. I don't think this is a hardcore record. In the same way we're saying that War Hunger record's not really a hardcore record. But it's not a bad thing. Like, there's elements like,
really?
Like if you're saying the War Hungry record's not a hardcore record, I'm like, it's just where you draw your lines. Like, all right, let's do it.
I feel like this is like sheer terror adjacent.
Are you ready? Here is what is adjacent to.
Judicially speaking, litigation can begin to illustrate the contemplation that will feel psychologically sinking into euphoria you can't ignore. Biblically speaking.
Where are you sending us?
Well, Terminator hasn't always been this glam. I was a drab little crab once. Now I know I can be happy as a crab.
Wow.
Because I'm beautiful, baby.
Yo, I think Moana owes Colin Young some dollars,
Seriously,
man.
Moana, what's going on?
Yo, The Rock is stealing shit from the Youngs.
Well, I thought it was The Rock.
Come to think of it,
I thought it was that.
honestly, I could go on and on. I could explain every natural phenomenon. The tide, the grass, the ground. Oh, that was Maui just messing around.
But it's really the Shiny Crab song.
I thought that was like
more.
some Tim Burton shit. I thought you were going to turn the camera to me.
I thought it was Tim Curry doing some like
Right, yeah. I give it like,
Yeah.
What's this? What's this?
I think the song In Love There's No Law and the song Preacher Man are remarkably like catchy and weird and just really cool weirdo music. I think you guys think it's being dismissive for me to say there's radio metal elements to this.
Oh, no.
Okay, because I like that, and like it's
There is
something
radio
like
metal. I mean,
yeah, like I
those
think
some choruses.
right, and they're done so well. I can't think of many examples. Like there is some sheer terror parallels all over this shit, but like sheer terror is the minor league. Like the production wasn't there. They didn't know how to like harmonize things. These dudes are like, yeah, we know how to do that.
Yeah.
On their fucking second release out, really. You know what I mean?
This is as hardcore as like Typo Negative is.
And I put big production and that they're comfortable in the space. Yeah. The crunchier parts are really well done, but they might lose me more than the radio influence shit. I think that's it. But the first half of this record is really well done. If you like anything of the world of Only Living Witness, Life of Agony, Carnivore Typo for sure. Yeah. And and I'm not like of that genre. I fuck with a little bit of Typo and mostly early like Slow Deep Hard shit. And they just really nail it. It's impressive, and it's impressive. Again, same kind of thing. Like to me, production can be a lot about what you feel comfortable with in the space. And And these dudes are proving, like, that's why when you hear like a fast punk band go and get a recording that's too clean.
Sounds weird.
Yes. Yeah. Or if you get a band who should be playing big and is trying to dirty it up a little bit.
Trying too hard.
Yeah, like you say in anger. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like fitting your, whatever your lane is, fitting there.
Exactly. And I think this, I hate to say it's their best record, but I think it's their best record. Like I know that they probably, because of artistic things, would lean to other things, but I just think they're, damn.
I feel like any band's, like, their most current record is probably their favorite record.
And would you know what I mean? Like, if you were writing the Twitching Tongues last show 10-song set list, are 4 of those first 5 songs on it?
100%.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It's a great record.
What do you got there?
The spoken word part reminds me of Paul Bearer.
I like that part a lot. Like that
when
part.
He's like, "No, will your loved ones?" He like puts on a real, "Hey, I'm taking a Staten Island ferry to sucks."
I think all the parts that Colin takes a risk on,
they're awesome,
are fucking great, and it's like
that whole "In Love Is No Law" song is a fucking weird song. You're playing over fucking drums.
Do you remember when it came out and they did the video for it?
I don't remember.
Okay, they did. I think they debuted it with this weird video, and it's this whole thing, and people were tripped out about it, and it was ballsy that these dudes did it, and sonically, when I listened to it. It's more hardcore-y than I remembered it.
Yeah.
It almost has production like on the guitars, like it's a lot less metal than their newer records, which makes sense. Yeah. But I think they sound comfortable doing daring things, and that's a lot. That says a lot.
I was just thinking about accents when you said the Paul Bearer thing. Yeah. Friend of the podcast, Rich Miles, had an experience the other day where he was listening to Men's Recovery Project, which is already a weird experience.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. But there's Sam McPheeters does the like spoken thing, and his wife comes in and says, "Is that Patrick?" And so
makes sense.
Well, that's the thing. He was wondering.
Isn't he from Albany?
He was raised in Albany, and it got me thinking: Is there an Albany accent? Or is it just I always just say it's American white trash.
It's New York.
It's just New York?
A friend of the room, Trey, was like, I didn't know Patrick had an accent until you guys started doing the podcast.
Yeah, it comes out.
It comes out.
Yep.
Wow.
And you also have a specific vein of New York accent.
Yeah.
Like
different from mine.
Yeah, he can say H's. You and Donald Trump cannot say H's.
I can't say H's at all. Ooh. Yeah.
It's a weird one. I wonder what that strain is.
Human and huge. Very hard. Very hard for me.
Are there any words that give you trouble? Not really. You have, despite having a pronounced New York accent, there's no words that you can't say. Yeah.
Coffee.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. But that's...
McPheeters lives in Pomona now. Pretty nice.
Proving the dirt is better than the snow.
Yeah, pretty nice. It's an upgrade.
Actually, loading bands into the.
We got a lot of Lake Elsinore hardcore love last week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. It's cool. Bury me in Lake Elsinore. I'm in.
Last McPheeters fact I'll hit us with while I've got his Wikipedia open. So raised in Albany, but born in Lorain, Ohio.
Weird.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder about his familial accent, his household accent, because that plays a factor too.
That's exactly what I thought.
Ohio's got a certain kind of accent too.
Yeah.
And then they came here and started trouble with Sick with all.
That's true. Okay. So
what's Steve Reddy?
What's our vote? Ooh,
Steve Reddy on the...
No, he's not, but is he on the
McPheeters side?
No.
That's what I thought. I was like, what the fuck?
No. McPheeters took a dig at Reddy. And then famously, Reddy showed up at the practice space and wasn't about it.
Hard as fuck. So you picked 3 dudes that you didn't really want to fuck with.
Let's talk about that. We don't want to talk about Steve when Steve's not in the room. Steve shows up at the practice space. The other day, I had beef with a neighbor, and I had to leave a passive-aggressive note. And I was like...
You had beef with a neighbor?
Well, I thought my packages were going missing. And I was getting very irate because I wanted that extension cord. You know what I mean? So... and it turned out to be my bad, you know what I mean? But I was like, I got to leave a passive aggressive sign
To everyone?
to everyone.
So you were like, I'm going to war with this whole building.
That's exactly right. But when
It's like an episode of Power up in here.
but when I did
Amelia did it first too. by the
no,
way.
she
Yeah,
did do it
Yeah,
first.
she
Yeah,
did
that's
first.
true.
She has
But-
nice handwriting, probably. So
but yeah, she does. She looks like Lord of the Rings handwriting. But when I did it, I was like, I still was like, oh, I hope nobody catches me writing this
Or putting it up, like, I'm going-
because I'm not the dude that shows up at your practice space.
by himself against 5
Right.
dudes.
I think
Right.
there's actually, you might have the story slightly twisted, but it's great, and we'll wait till we have Steve ready.
There
on
we go.
because
Let
it's-
this one ride for
It's
now.
even better.
So was he at NYU when that whole thing went down?
No. This is a separate.
Should we do a listen through of the WNYU tapes?
We
And
should actually with commentary.
It's
When it
painful
ends-
though.
Yeah.
We should maybe just fast forward through the boring parts.
It's like
And
it's,
the
with Pete
childish
throwing a
parts.
chair.
What are you talking? You did it first.
Yeah, they got us football jackets.
it's three people talking past each other in
Yeah.
the
And
Or-
spermicide sounding like Rachel. That's why I love it.
yeah.
So let's talk Twitching Tongues versus Code Orange Kids. Love is love. In love, there's no law.
Okay, both. So I just got in contact with Taylor from Twitching Tongues. He also agrees that this record is better than the Code Orange record.
Shocking.
He says they didn't hit their stride until the record after that, which I think we can probably all agree on,
I Am
right?
King?
Yeah.
100%.
So we can probably all agree on that. But this record surprised me so much that I kind of want to lean Code Orange on this.
Interesting. Here's my question, and maybe you guys know. I actually, speaking about lyrical content, I think lyrical content on that Twitching Tongues record is really interesting. Now, some
Agreed.
of it is Colin going to the thesaurus and bouncing words.
Yeah.
But that takes some skill just in itself. The lyrics to the song "Preacher Man" like made me go like, is this a story? Is this
Yeah.
real?
So,
Damn.
So Preacher Man hints at things that one of two things: either it's a lived experience with a lot of granular detail, or he's a very, very good storyteller, and like
In a way that's like admirable and should be encouraged among other people who are in the genre.
I think it's a good story. Have you seen his Vine?
damn.
He's a good storyteller.
And now I'm leaning Love is Love. We could flip, or now I'm leaning in Love There Is No Law. We could flip a coin on this for me.
Make a decision.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Women like when you're decisive. Come on.
I'm gonna go Twitching Tongues.
Okay.
Twitching Tongues.
Twitching Tongues.
Okay.
Wow, it's the first one we all agreed on.
Well, make your own decisions,
Yes.
everybody. And that there's a reason that Code Orange Kids record made this list. It got a lot
votes.
of votes. It got more votes than Forever. And as I've opined, I think that Forever and I Am King split some votes a bit. And
Yeah, 'cause
people were
people don't
picking
wanna
between
put-
one or the
yeah,
other.
yeah.
But the people who were picking Love is Love were like, no, I'm
and they
picking
weren't
that.
voting for those
Right.
other two necessarily.
Not necessarily.
That makes sense.
All right.
Last but not least.
Last but not least. Ooh, good. The original. Mindset, Leave No Doubt, released in 2012. React Records.
That long ago? Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Time flies.
When you're having fun. Time flies.
And the Boston Strangler, Primitive,
The Strangler.
which was released in 2011
Fuck.
on Fun with Smack Records.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, that's the label that did it. It's Fun
Fun
with
with
Smack,
Smack.
Western Mass, Boston Mass, whatever based label that has put out some pretty cool stuff. And
Really? I've
did,
never even heard of it.
did both, well, did the first Boston Strangler record and then helped distribute the second Boston Strangler LP. So
Which was the one, maybe it's this one, that was like, oh shit, you can't find it anywhere.
this one,
What's
when
this one?
it
It was-
first came out, there was 500 pressed.
Got it.
And it went so quick that it's hard to think about.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Let's start with Mindset, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave No Doubt.
Yep.
Kick us off.
So this is the most pure version of React Records core. Is that fair?
Given that I believe the singer of the band owns React Records.
That is correct.
Yep.
Yep, that is correct.
I would say yes on multiple levels.
This is very modern Youth Crew.
Yes. Good.
It's-
Thank you for making the point, and we'll talk about it more.
Still Youth Crew, you know what I mean? But the most up-to-date version. This is Youth Crew 3.0.
Okay, let's go there right now because this
Okay.
is a good point. I want to compare the Fury record production-wise to this record production-wise. Just really quick, the Fury record is post this type of production on Youth Crew.
Exactly right.
This record and many others from basically 1998 to, let's say, maybe 2012, 13, in that range, owe a great deal to the In My Eyes, The Difference Between
I was
record.
just gonna say that's what all these records remind me of.
All these records owe so much to that sound, more so than Youth of Today, Gorilla Biscuits, Judge,
100%.
anything.
That Brian McTernan?
It's McTernan. Ken Olden was producing a lot of stuff that had a similar sound.
Yeah.
Clean octave guitar stuff.
Yep. Very
Drum heavy.
Right. I mean,
Guitars and vocals are mixed equally, if not with the vocals a little on top. Which is funny because when you go back and listen, I did the same thing when I went to the Fury record. I listened to the Turning Point LP. I listened to the In My Eyes, The Difference Between LP after this. The vocals are at a similar volume to the guitars. They don't feel necessarily on top of, but they feel apart from, if you think about that, you know? And I thought that was interesting. Whereas on something like this, I think the vocals, similarly, they try not to have them way above, but they're high in the mix. So production-wise, this was a Youth Crew, quote-unquote, sound. Modern Youth Crew is the way to put it.
Yeah.
That really, I think we are now post that. We are beyond that.
This is a borrowed take from a musician who was in the room 2 hours ago. This is post Amazing Core.
Could be. But there's certain stuff of the sound that predates Amazing Core.
Well, their point was that I was sitting here typing up my thoughts for these records, and I threw it out to this musician and said, "Which of these two records do you like better?" Not knowing, I had a feeling, but
feeling
instantly responded, Primitive. Instantly,
Strangler, yeah.
instantly, and said that Mindset record is an emo record. And I said, that's a very interesting take. And he said, it's like very squarely like in the like have heart vein of melodic hardcore. Now I don't hear that.
I don't agree with that.
But I do. They are kissing cousins. You know what I mean? These are not worlds away, but they're not exactly the same.
No. There's maybe two steps in between.
I think. Is this a hot take? I think this is a great record. I think
it's a hot take for you.
I think this is a great record. I remember when this came out, thinking Mindset was trash, giving this a listen, and saying that's actually a remarkably hard Youth Crew record because the song "War" is
it's a great
fucking
song.
hard.
That's one of the standout tracks on this record for sure.
Yeah, and I think this was like their last record, right?
Yeah. Oh no, maybe there's.
They did an EP after this.
did they?
Maybe let me look it up.
EP or single after this.
But yeah, I think this is by far the record that brought up folks like us into the mix.
Yes, yeah, because it's hard.
It's really good, man. And I feel like the vocals for this type of stuff, I feel like the vocals are kind of boring sometimes. You know, like not. I don't know. I like people that yell their faces off.
Right, and
in my eyes, you're not yelling your face off.
No,
Talky,
right? You know what I mean? But I feel like this is like the singer is like super fucking intense. Have you ever seen them live? It's
Oh well, this was one of the, as quiet as it's kept. This was one of the top tier live acts of its time.
100%.
well, and I think that's the part to me is that these kind of bands, if you don't have the energy, if you don't have the spirit live,
Don't bother.
what are you doing?
But
That's
why
what this
people
band
still talk
is.
about the first step,
The first step live. Like, did you ever
Insane.
see them?
No,
dude.
You would have been. Yeah,
You never would
have
have listened to the record.
Yeah.
But live, it's like if they weren't all straight edge dudes, you'd be like, they did like mountains of coke.
wait. That's not the Austin band, or that is
North
the
Carolina.
No,
Austin?
that's not the Austin.
No, not the-
Austin the Semper. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not.
No,
Okay.
not Austin. Austin does Line of Sight. He actually was in Mindset.
Right.
And he was in a band, The Frontline, which was before that. And you would not. You might have played with them.
Because I
to be
saw
honest.
Austin playing something and
Was
was
he-
very impressed by him.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure because he's an impressive guitar player and singer.
Yeah.
When he goes off, he goes hard. And he filled in for Have Heart and did
Right,
the whole
I
thing.
remember all that.
So, your thoughts, leave no doubt. You thought this is the one that pulled you in because
Yeah.
I had the same feeling. I think their earlier stuff is not impressive.
Yeah, it's fine. Like it's not offensive. It's
Yeah.
just there. But I feel like this record, and I had seen them right around this time, and I was like super impressed. It's intense, and I like that.
I have a huge React Records blind spot.
Sure, that's okay.
because let me posit a theory here. This is your version of my reticence to try anything vegan straight edge hardcore.
Correct.
Yeah, like it's the updated version. There's something off-putting about it when you love the original.
I have a level of familiarity that makes a lot of this stuff hard to like give the fair shot. And love for it is tough. I wrote this band off as being First Step Light.
Sure.
And I said, I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's not.
No.
But I've been told, no, they were a superior live band. They were great. They said the First Step was also crazy live. Like they just knew.
I couldn't
like,
tell you if they were great though. They were intense.
who, the First Step?
Yeah.
Oh, they were pretty great. If
All
you
over
caught
the
them,
place, jump in and go.
if
But I
you
don't know what they sounded like.
Oh, they were pretty tight as
Were
far
they?
as
Yeah.
and they always had competent musicians playing with them. You know, Andy Norton was in the early lineups.
Aram was
The
on
dude Aram and Greg Bacon were in the later lineups. You know, so they're dudes who can play.
Sure.
They all had dudes who were super competent.
Yeah.
And they were committed to the idea of like, yes, we're all going to go off. If you don't go off, then why are we fucking doing this?
Yeah.
But we also better sound good.
Okay.
And they were pretty tight about that. I listened to the early Mindset stuff when it came out and was like, this is cool. You know, I was nonplussed. But upon listening to this record, my highlight track is Leave No Doubt. I thought there was just a couple vocal parts there where he really, vocally and lyrically, just like
Lyrically,
really cool.
He's a cut above.
He's really cool for what he's doing. I said he's somewhere between Youth of Today and Shelter in terms of he's got that kind of introspective streak that Capo would have in both bands, but with more of an active voice towards worldly issues. You know, the song War is just a great example. Like they weren't doing, there's a lot of like self-reflective kind of lyrics, but there wasn't, in terms of what I could understand or what I was listening to or picking up on, they weren't really involved or interested in like scene conflict. They were more like, hey, let's talk about issues, like real things. And I thought that was really commendable. I think this is a very good record. A little long, which I think for this genre, especially when we go to like a modern youth group thing, shorter is better. But the standout tracks really, really stood out. What else did I say? And I kind of said it's not fair for me to say that the First Step. It was just that I kind of made the association. There's visual cues on both. And like just the React Records. So basically React Records comes out in the mid-aughts. Aram started it, and there was some cool stuff, but then stuff that was like, meh, it just didn't do anything for me. And so I didn't check out everything they put out. And so the Mindset, Leave No Doubt, this was the first time I heard the record, like actually gave it a hard listen. It's really good. I think the highlight tracks are stuff that I would continue to listen to, but I'm probably not going to listen to the whole record again.
Okay.
You know?
I mean, you think that's a fair, like, kind of review of most records you hear?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not a slight, you know what I mean? It's kind of like...
No, and I don't want people to take that that way, you know?
Like, there's songs on every single record we talked about today that I will definitely listen to.
Well, but I think the difference for me is I would put War on a mix.
Yeah, I put War and Leave No Doubt on mixes.
Yeah.
Like, I actually think both those songs are really strong. And if I was trying to sell someone on more straightforward hardcore and like a more classical sound of hardcore, this is an interesting question. Which record would you give them? The Fury record, if you could pick one or two songs off that, or one or two songs off this Mindset record? Because there might be a stronger energy and connection if you're just going on a song by song basis on Mindset.
Yeah. Might be more palatable to, like, someone who's not...
Who is looking for a cleaner, like more polished production.
Yeah.
I think this is a cleaner production.
So wait, who am I suggesting this to?
To a, let's say a kid at a Turnstile show.
Oh, Mindset.
Yep.
Mindset.
A kid at a Code Orange show.
Maybe also Mindset. Yeah.
A kid at a Vane show. Mindset.
Mindset. Yeah.
Someone at a Power Trip show?
No, I'd go
Probably
Fury.
Yeah.
Probably, yes. Huh. That's an interesting parsing.
Yeah.
Even
Someone at a Screaming Female show.
Fury.
Fury.
Okay. Yeah. A little headier.
Well, at that point, it's not just that. I just think that, like, aesthetically, production production and album art really, if you're trying to sell something to somebody that has only a passing familiarity, but they have a definite vibe, then, I mean...
I got it too. Self-defense fan, Fury. Drug church fan, Mindset.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
For the energy and bounce on it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so shout out to Mindset. The last record of round, the first bracket, Boston Strangler, Primitive.
The Strangler.
The same way that you maybe have a blind spot for React. What's this, Painkiller World?
Painkiller World, sure.
I have a blind spot for this, for no good reason. It's really honestly like the fans of that stuff were just off-putting people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but that doesn't mean anything about anything.
So we should touch that for a minute. Exclusionary vibe?
Yes.
Oh, dickheads.
100%.
And as somebody who's buddies with those guys, or, you know, have known them for a long time, and some I would certainly consider buddies still, I don't know that I've ever broached it with those guys. It's a bummer because that's not the first time I've heard that. And some of them are super easy to talk to and are like, cool.
But do they promote that vibe?
No, I mean, but because I think there's others who are more, have that vibe a little harder. And
they
I
get
don't
painted
think
the same.
Yeah, like the dude Chris Minicucci who runs Painkiller is one of the coolest dudes I know, and he's a nice dude, and he listens. So shout out Chris, and he is just like a great guy. He knows more about hardcore than just about anyone I know,
Yeah.
and he is happy to talk to people about it, and he's awesome, and he's got a great. And clearly, you can tell some of his taste from the stuff he does.
Sure.
He also helps do that label Radio Raheem.
Oh, yeah.
That does a lot of cool reissues, reissued the Psychos material, NYC Mayhem, all that. But there's other people and other, vibe that goes out that feels exclusionary to a lot of people. And it's a bummer because I think it prevents people from getting into stuff that is of quality.
I'm also going to be as charitable as I can with that.
And there's other people who are drawn to that and go into it specifically
For sure, they love that vibe. But just being as charitable as I can, if you are involved in something that, like, let's say that you don't care about posterity, you really are just enjoying your time in what you believe to be a youth culture. You think that the sands of time are going to devour your releases. Right. It doesn't. Nothing quote unquote matters. Your like the next generation is going to love what they love, and fuck you. You know what I mean? You don't need to be loved moving forward.
Correct.
Then, with that in mind, it's not a crime to embrace a more exclusive or snobby vibe. It's not a crime.
Absolutely not. Not at all. Or like a better than you. You can be better than you, As adults, is for the people at this table, is it all a little gauche to be like that? Yeah, it's a little gauche. But like if I'm just looking at it as like, look, if a bunch of fucking 25-year-olds who believe that they're cooler than 18-year-olds want to fuck it, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that works well for you till you hit about your mid-30s, and then you realize, oh shit, not only do the 25-year-olds think we're douchebags, the 19-year-olds really don't give a fuck about us.
And if that's where you are, if that's like kind of the conceit that you've got about the music that you're making or the scene that you're involved in, then yeah, I'm not mad. It's just like as an adult though, looking at it, like we are now looking at it almost like with a parental vibe where we're like, oh, imagine if this this is good music. Imagine if this had a welcoming vibe. You know what I mean?
Imagine if it wasn't gatekeepered off and like you had to get the cool kid card because the idea is like, oh, you think that these quote unquote mainstream hardcore records suck. Well, that's because you keep the quote unquote good stuff away from the people who would like to access it, So,
I'm also going to say that, like,
fuck it, let's not be parents.
No, but having been a snob at different times in my life,
you were beneath me.
Like,
sure.
It doesn't keep you.
Having been a snob at different points in my life.
Well,
Does that ebb and flow? I think.
I just want to say, like,
it's an even flow.
It doesn't.
Dots arise like butterflies.
It doesn't actually keep you warm. You know what I mean? It's not a blanket.
No.
Like it doesn't. It doesn't heat your home.
And you're playing fucking hardcore. Relax.
Right. Exactly.
Calm the fuck down and let people listen to your shit.
Well, I didn't get the memo really until I moved to New York and saw people that thought they were cool And then I was like, oh no, come on.
They're not from here, are they?
Oh no, it's all Ohio kids. But like, oh,
Strong connection.
But then you get this weird sort of thing where you're like, oh, nobody here is cool. You know what I mean? Like
We're all broke working these shit jobs. Let's
right.
go.
So
And all the cool people are nice.
right, that's true. So
You can go up to Vinny Stigma tomorrow.
so
And he'll give you a big kiss on the cheek.
that might be a bit forward, but I'll take it. You know
Jimmy
what I mean? I'll take
Jimmy
it.
Gestapo doles him out.
Yeah, I'll take a kiss
Every
on the
time.
cheek.
He gives me the European. It's weird.
Just one or two?
He gives me...
Oh, yeah.
bless.
Did you see the map of France that shows the different regions and how many kisses they do?
No.
Yeah, it's
No.
really cool.
Is there any place that does 3?
There's a place that does 5.
5!
5.
That's
1,
like an
2,
OCD
3, 4,
nightmare.
5.
It is.
Like,
Boom.
finish it, gotta do 6.
I like the odd start, though, because you start and stop on the same side.
Fair.
You know what I mean? So if you're going to do 4,
Then
you
gotta
might as well
yeah.
do 5, because you just return to sender, you know?
Am I too cold a person to give out kisses?
Yes.
I am.
You'd have to, yeah, because you don't even really like physical contact that much.
No, I mean I'll hug if somebody hugs.
Yeah, but
You
you're not
wouldn't go
you're
for
not
the
seeking
hug.
it out.
No, it's rare that I'm.
Like, I'm a hugger.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so...
So a kiss might be a little off brand, and therefore
If you that's a hard turn for you. You might need to start being more consistent with bro hugs.
Yeah.
And then lean in.
Dap up people
then
and
you
then-
can start doing the kisses. Because I think if that was a goal for you to by like 45 to be a kisser, I think you could do it. But by 39, no, not going to happen.
pushing
see, I'm trying to be warmer to like
Okay.
be friendlier and stuff. You know what I mean?
It's really... it's showing through.
It's showing-
Yeah.
So let me say this is a good hardcore record.
Yeah. Let's get back to the good place.
I had people say
How many kisses would you give it?
I'd only give
of
it
5?
I'd only give it 2.
2 out of 5.
Yeah, but that's still 1 for each cheek.
yeah, you still...
You know, it's not like I did this is the relative I don't like single kiss. You know what I mean?
Or
the wave across the room.
Or dead fish handshake.
oh, dead fish hand. Oh.
You'd give this the
I've done it.
bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah, or maybe the very reticent. I think this is good.
Weird how you do it.
I don't. Yeah, I got to work on it.
It's like a pucker and butthole.
I gotta work
It's weird,
on it.
man.
I gotta work
You gotta go
on it.
cheek to cheek. That's all you do.
Yeah, cheek to cheek. I'll do cheek to cheek in certain circumstances.
Yeah, I don't think that's fine.
But
Like when you say hello to somebody, like say someone that like you care for, and they go to give you a hug, you don't like actually kiss them on the cheek. Do
I
you?
don't know. Do you?
I mean, I don't.
It's not my world.
No, you
Most of the
can.
time.
Some people
I mean,
do.
you can, but most of the time it's just like
Relative,
Just
yeah.
gonna give you a high five with my cheek.
I try not
Relatives.
to. See, I try not to do that.
Or like
for-
older family friends on the fancier side. Yeah.
Do you just go like cheek to cheek?
Well,
don't
I
know.
always worry that I'm sometimes women wear makeup on the cheeks, and I don't want to rub it off.
And what happens if they're going for the kiss on the cheek? You go for the kiss on the cheek. You meet in the middle.
You gotta
it
be
gets
careful.
all
You,
awkward.
you just gotta you're going cheek, and what you do if you go cheek and
You
they
do the
get
side
and
thing?
you let them lead is the best move.
Sure.
And you let them lead, and if they do, you can kind of slide
I mean,
over.
that's really a
Easy.
good rule of thumb for most things in
Yeah,
life.
let's,
Let them leave.
Let the other person lead.
Do you hug your brother when you see him?
No, crazy thing. He goes.
Gotta work on
I
Such
saw.
a sad life.
I need to start on that, buddy.
Yeah.
So I saw him over the
Break, yeah.
over the break. He's having a baby.
Congrats.
So you didn't even hug him after that news?
No, I asked, "Is it yours?" But the
Brotherly love, you know what I mean?
Did you pound? Give
no.
him a pound?
Here's
What'd
what's
you do?
crazy. He comes out.
That weird kiss.
Yeah, we kissed on the lips like this. So he comes out of the room
Shout
that,
out TK.
that he's in with his girl, and he comes out and he goes, "Hey,
Did they just make the baby?
they just made the baby."
Ah,
Is it
cool, sweet.
confirmed?
Fresh out the
Sick.
oven.
Fresh
yeah.
out the oven.
So no, he comes out. It's in the morning, and he goes, "Hey, if she talks, if Candace talks to you about the show in Orange County,
Yeah.
just say that we talked." And I said, "What show in Orange County?"
Oh, yeah.
He was at one of my shows.
But he
This is the
didn't tell
second
you.
time that he's done this, and doesn't say hello to me. He's like,
Yeah.
he goes, she doesn't understand. She thinks that like all families got to like dap each other and hug and shit. And
Yo, that is real fucking weird.
No, I'm with it. I like that.
You like that
I
stuff.
I think it actually is like
He lives out there.
he does, but
But it's you. Did you see him on the trip or not? Really?
no, I didn't know he was at.
I mean,
those-
let's
He was
let's-
at the show and
let's
didn't say
pull
hello
back.
to his brother.
Pull back. Patrick didn't go into the show other than when his set was happening.
That's
I
true.
bet.
But-
So do the brother thing.
You have a family member.
I have a sister. Yeah.
Right? Like if you were like in the middle of like, say she lived in fucking Alaska and you happen to be in Alaska, wouldn't you be like, hey, I'm in Alaska?
Alaska is different.
maybe
You know, in Southern California. I've been
in
to Southern
Seattle.
California when she lived there and didn't see her.
But you
And
lived
she's
there
been
too,
back.
right?
And yeah, like Yeah, no, well,
Was it
not
like
when I lived there.
South-
No, I lived there first, then she moved there when I moved back east. And then when I went back to visit, and I went and saw her once, and then...
But if like you were like outside her work, or like in like the cafeteria in her work building, and you're like, nah.
Well, so
Well, that's weird.
I'll say this. My sister will come down to visit my mom, who lives 2 miles from me. It's not a prerequisite. I try, like I told Amanda, I'm like, yeah, she's just going to hang out with my mom. Sometimes it's nice that they can just hang out, just them
sure.
two.
Yeah, but that's like you're in the same Target.
No, yeah. If we're in the same Target and I saw her, I would stop and hang out.
Like, could you imagine, like, oh, you're going to Target on Route 66? I'll be at the Target on Route 66, and you don't meet up is so fucking crazy.
There's some regiment, like I ran into a friend, Erin, what's up? I ran into her when we were both making drop-offs at Goodwill. But I had other things to do, and I assumed she did too. So it was like she was behind me in the line. You know, you drive up, throw your stuff out. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, da-da. All right, see ya. I didn't be like, oh, let's hang out or
That's
anything.
not even a relative.
But I thought it was, but so I'll make
That's
this
not even
argument.
weird.
I'll make this argument for him. His brother knows him. Your brother knows you?
Knows me as a person. Yes.
Yeah.
He's familiar.
He knows his style. And he also probably shares some traits with him. Not
would
all.
imagine.
Not all.
No.
Some.
Younger or older?
Younger.
Okay.
So for that dude, it was probably like, yeah. Now he also knew it's probably weird to someone else that I didn't do that, but he knew to Pat, it would be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't think
sure.
a thing about it. You know whose style I really like? Todd Jones. So if he sees me at a backstage sort of scenario or whatever, a lot of times I got my headphones in or whatever. He'll come up, shake my hand, and I'll be like, "Hold on, Todd." And he'll be like, "I don't want."
No.
He'll be
Yeah,
like,
wave it off.
He'll
Yep.
be like, "I didn't want to talk to you. I was just saying hello." You know?
Yep.
Like, that's like the to
Yeah, but
me.
he said hello.
To me, that's a fun vibe. I like the dude that's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to get engaged.
Yeah, I don't want
here.
small talk. No.
I wasn't trying to get engaged.
It takes all types, and
That blows my
as somebody
mind.
who like, if I am not doing something, I have headphones in. Like if
my
I'm not
yeah.
here, I have like, and I don't want to.
Yeah, but if I was like, hey, you guys just played, fucking White Eagle Hall in Jersey City, and like my sisters came and I didn't know.
I mean,
That's fucking weird.
I understand that it is a
Yeah.
bit odd. I'm just saying.
And they live in Jersey. It's not even that far.
I'm just saying I like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with it
plays
too.
into your whole,
If my
like, I don't
sister-
listen to overnight drive. I don't do this. I don't. It plays into your whole.
If my
Yeah,
sister, if
for
I
sure.
had say that show in Asbury, that I did it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't at the door, and she went and just to support
Yeah.
and watch a couple bands and left. That has happened, something like that. And she didn't see me. It was like, oh, cool, thanks. That was nice. Like, thanks for stopping by. She texted me after to be like, hey, I was by, but I couldn't see you, so no big deal.
But like, say she lived in California and just happened to be in Asbury Park for the weekend and came to that show and she didn't say hello to you.
And
That's
texted
the
me
equivalent.
afterward.
That's fucking weird.
It is weird.
weird.
No
Come on,
denial.
man.
No denial that it's weird, but it's just like my threshold to be like, oh, that's cool. All right.
Yeah.
You know.
Because it's so fucked up that it's cool.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm
with it.
Bob nailed it. I'm bad at this where like good friends are like, did you pass through my town and not say hello to me? And I'll be like, I'll be totally frank with you. It didn't even occur to me to reach out to a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love Patrick, and we've been friends for a long time. And there's been a year or two where we just didn't talk, and it wasn't. And then I got
yeah,
on the
that's
phone
same.
with him, and it's like we talked yesterday. You know.
I've known Patrick for a long time, but
Yeah.
if you were still in Albany and I just happened to fucking be in Albany for some fucking weird reason for a day or two, I'd probably hit you up.
I've got.
See, you're a better person
Yeah,
than
you
us,
are.
I think.
You are.
I'm not saying it in that way, but like,
No,
I know, but I'm just
if I
saying
was in
that-
Asbury for the
Yeah.
day, I'd be like, hey, what are you doing?
No,
Yeah, you let me know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just
I
think
wasn't
that's
joking. You might be a better person because honestly, like a thing I wrestle with is like.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that in a like just being nice. I just think like
it
there's
seems
part
natural.
there's
No.
a part of me that's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
the best
yeah,
part of touring.
Yeah.
See, for
Was
me, it's
seeing
the
my friends in the cities.
nightmare for me.
Really?
It's my least favorite.
Well, we
part.
weren't that popular at the time, so it wasn't like, oh fuck, I got 19 people, I got to get on the
Yo,
guest list.
LA,
Amanda-
LA and New York, I feel nothing but anxiety. You know,
Sure, I get that.
Amanda has fought me about it because it's not my natural inclination. I have all this family in Boston, but I'm like, oh yeah, we can just get a hotel. And she's like, you literally have 10 people we could stay with, and they're your family. You want to see them? I'm like, yeah, I guess we could. Yeah, hotels.
Hotels are dope.
But you know,
I will say this though.
hotels
One of the musicians staying with me the last couple days, his family.
Did he say hello to you when he slept on your couch?
He did. Yeah.
He acknowledged you.
He acknowledged me.
Got
But
it.
his family kind of pressured him to go visit his grandmother who has Alzheimer's, right? Who lives in who lives in Queens, and it was like a
That's a joke,
50.
yeah.
It was like a $50 lift or like a 2 hours on the train. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was a whole thing.
Because no one knows how far the way that
Right.
in New York what it actually is.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it says 3 miles.
and
yeah.
with Alzheimer's, you're not.
She might not remember.
The other she didn't, but the other person, like the patient, the Alzheimer's patient, isn't getting the full effect of having a visit necessarily because they
Yeah.
don't even necessarily know who you are. But you're doing it essentially for your father or for
You do it for the yep.
right. But here's what I'll say about all that shit. And this is only recent that I've had this. My father, Super Dave Osborne, died the other day.
No, RP.
Right? 76. My father's 76. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you reflect on these things when you're like, you know what? I'll go visit that son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it kind of puts things into.
yeah, you
perspective.
got to.
And the flip is if your father dies young, you just go, "Oh, that's my time. All right, I'm fucked."
yeah, for sure. But
Running out of time, fellas.
yeah, but so
Same.
I am in a space where I'm trying. I'm gonna try calling people and shit. But here,
No, don't go that far.
But to give you an idea of where I'm at,
I don't want anyone to call me.
I
you're
have
not
to
a
make
caller.
I
I'm
have to
alright
make
with
a
callers.
list. I have to make a list of people to call.
I think that a lot of people do.
Okay, that's good.
I just think it's
Good.
the willingness to make the list, and that's where the psychosis
Can I make
comes
the
into
list
me.
and then not call? Does that count for anything?
I think that hurts. You might as well just not make the list.
Yeah, or you shoot.
If you make the list but don't call, you're worse than anything
Oh,
else.
fuck.
All right.
Super Dave's name was Einstein.
Just learned it from this stuff.
And did you know that his brother is Albert Brooks? I never knew that.
Didn't know. Wouldn't
I
have
did know
guessed
that.
either.
I did
His
know
brother's Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks' real name is Albert Einstein. Boom!
Dickhead parents.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Well, how old?
No, don't worry about it. They'll just call him Al Einstein.
I mean, I guess it's, but I feel like think about how old Albert Brooks is, right?
Yep.
He
old.
wasn't that far removed from
see.
Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you calling your kid like.
Were his parents unaware of Albert Einstein?
Right, it's
no,
like-
Al is 71, so they should have been aware of.
but I'm
Yeah,
saying, like,
Einstein died in 55, so they definitely knew
but
who
I'm
he
saying
was.
like so it was close enough that it was like, yeah, why are you naming
no.
your kid Kevin Durant? It's like here's my son Stephen Curry Kinlan. You're
oh,
what the
like
fuck,
Isaiah
man?
Thomas.
You know what though?
And Isaiah Thomas.
Right,
spelled
but,
wrong,
but
too.
here's what I like.
Yeah.
Differently, but
I
yeah.
like if you. I mean, this is a heavy topic.
We are really going on a
This is a heavy
fucking-
topic because I have like this. I was talking to
We'll get back to you, Strangler.
Bob. Were you and I talking
47.
about that sort of crazy relationship that some mothers and
Albert
daughters got, where
Einstein.
it's almost competitive?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then there's that relationship that some fathers have with their sons, where it's a lot of putting what I wanted out of life onto you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think that if you can, it's a very delicate lane. It's a very difficult walk. But if you can name your kid something that's like you're Michael Jordan Kinlan, you know what I mean? And guess what? You're never going to be more famous than Michael Jordan unless you fucking try. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
my God.
like I think that's
It's
cool.
like this is your problem now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you have the right kind of kid, maybe that's like what pushes them into being like,
right.
you know what? I'm going to be president of the United States and the world's best basketball player. Just to
So we're
fucking
waiting.
dunk
We're
on
waiting for
Jordan.
Scottie Pippen Kinlan
Exactly.
coming
But
soon.
here's what happens. Then you have a kid. I had a client years ago. His name was Michael Jackson.
So a lot goes into that.
So we went to go interview him in the court pens at the courthouse. So he was arrested.
Yeah.
So you say, hey, you go to the corrections office and you say, I'd like to see this client.
Yeah.
They go, Michael Jackson, and then you have a full pen of people go hee hee
You know what though?
because that happened.
That dude,
fucked up.
That dude, yeah, he needs a bad street name, like a bad, scary street name.
Right?
You know what I mean? That's got to be Snake.
Like Slice Jackson
Snake
or something.
Yeah, Snake Jackson.
Like Face Eater.
Mike.
The Eater of Worlds, Michael Jackson. Yes.
Exactly. Okay. I thought that this
Boston
record was
Strangler.
good.
I wonder if the dudes from Boston Strangler would visit their family if they were abroad.
Oh, I wonder.
Boston Strangler. John Brannon moves to Dorchester. Does a
That's
band with
perfect, yeah.
Gangrene, FU's Last Rites.
Okay.
It's very
I heard-
early 80s Boston.
I hear
Very
a lot,
regional.
I hear a lot of last
You know what I
Rites.
mean? Yeah. Some more rockin' parts like that makes me lean into Gangrene or the FU's.
I hear that. I think this is good. Here's the Heresy. Not great.
I agree. I think it was more hype than good.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Live, they were fucking great. I think that's the part that took them.
I did. I saw them with Nails, actually.
Oh yeah.
In Philly. It was
Oh,
like an
okay.
after show or something.
Oh,
It was
wow.
like God's Hate, Strangler, Nails, maybe.
Jesus, that's a
It
mix.
was a good show.
Yeah.
Like, no, they were very impressive live. I feel like this was like a thing for like 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
A
Oh, yeah.
ton of like.
Oh, yeah.
We only listened to anything before 1984 from
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
there was a bunch of those bands that they're like, we're not singing like this. Like everyone, and I feel like this was like probably the
leader
of
Oh,
that.
for
move.
sure. The best.
There's that band Cream.
I think they are the best.
Sure. They are the best by far. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good. Did
This
they go on
band,
to do anything else?
dudes from Cream or Boston Strangler?
Boston Strangler.
Yes, a bunch of weird little. DFJ was on drums
Okay.
at some point. He wasn't in the very beginning, but then
Okay.
he might even be on this record. They did a bunch of little bands side project things that actually are quite good.
Got it.
That I think Fun with Smack helped put out, or Boston Strangler Records put out, whatever.
Got it.
But worth tracking down if you like this band a lot. Standout track to me is the song Boston Strangler. I think they do a good job when they change up their tempos. Really good at doing that. But stick around. The last song is called Bulger's Breakout, named after Whitey Bulger. And it's actually like, it sounds like an intro. It's fucking great.
Right.
And it's the last song of the record. Dragged a little bit when I was listening to it, but I did like the style of it. These dudes played with Dropkick Murphys on a bunch of regional shows.
Okay.
Because they were like the dudes from Dropkick Murphys. The drummer of Dropkick Murphys is a hardcore guy. Sang in the band Fit for Abuse.
Right.
Matt Kelly.
Right.
Matt Kelly, I believe so. And
Dudes from like Hot Cold and all those bands, right? We're in the.
he might have been in some form played with
But
some
the
of
bass
bands.
player was in a hardcore band too.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember.
But they had this band come play with them.
That's fucking
These
cool.
guys are the band I was both Mindset. I think Mindset actually did try to play some pretty mixed bills. I wish Boston Strangler played more mixed bills. When I saw them on a mixed bill show, I think it was in Philly. I think it was Fire and Ice, Hounds of Hate, Boston Strangler. Man, there's one or two other bands, and it was just a fucking stacked show.
Right.
I think Kev Hare put it on actually,
Okay.
as he does.
Like FYA Fest.
Yeah, big booking agent guy. So it was, and they were great. And I saw them literally win people over who were there for like Fire and Ice.
Right.
And yeah, it was just cool to see that. I think this band was burned bright and fast, and that was it. And you couldn't get this record to save your life until they repressed it. And it was like a record that 6 months after it came out was a $60 record to get.
Right. Right.
So, but good. And it's good, highly regional, in the way that I think sometimes we talk about like wanting for.
Yeah.
Is this too regional and specific in production and sound? Like that it's almost like
Unlistenable outside.
or cosplaying, or you know what I mean? Like
Right
is
on
that
the line for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because you actually do lean. You like a lot of older Boston stuff.
I do.
Yeah. Bulger Breakout also has some like chaos in the SSD way, not the Converge way.
Okay.
Like kind of like it sounds like it's about to fall apart.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Good record. Really like it.
I'd go that far. I'd go as far as to say this is very good at what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Mindset, Leave No Doubt, or Boston Strangler, Primitive.
I'm going Mindset.
Okay.
Mindset.
I think I'm going. This is my toughest one. I'm going to go Boston Strangler. I do really like the record. There might actually be the best Mindset songs have better energy and like just it feels like it's jumping off the record. But Strangler, I like the LP more overall. All right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's our round.
That's
Yes.
our rounds. I just wanted to share this last bit. This conversation with Taylor Young just kicked up some memories for him, where
Ooh.
Code Orange and Twitching Tongues met at Metal Fest while they were both touring on the records that we just mentioned.
Wow.
At the time, Twitching Tongues was killing it, and people were kind of prospecting about Code Orange, not necessarily into what they were doing, but interested. But Taylor says the tables turned as soon as I Am King came out, where it was Code Orange was the clear headliner on the shows that they did together. You know what I mean?
went to that tour.
So it's an interesting idea that like people really can get turned on by like a defining record.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
But okay.
You want to do like a one? You want to read through the list?
What do we got? Is that Bob the Builder?
This is Taylor on the Code Orange Twitching Tongues matchup. So we had Boston Strangler, Primitive, Mindset, Leave No Doubt, Code Orange, Love is Love. Twitching Tongues, In Love, There is No Law. I Need to Know. What were the other records?
Fury, Paramount.
Renounced, Todd.
I think while it's very on brand, that name, Theories of
Despair.
like, I think it's on brand for that type of music, but I think it feels anachronistic in a way that didn't help. Does that make sense?
A little bit. You know what I think hurt that record more than anything? The layout, cover, just doesn't jump out.
No,
Not bad. It's not bad at all to me.
but that's
It's
how
just
I feel about the Fury record.
you don't like the
No,
painting.
no.
I think it stands out and stands the test of time longer. I just think the Renounced art just feels more fonty.
That's
Did we say all the records? I think we said all the
No, I
records.
wanted to go back and look real quick.
Oh, and War Hungry, self-titled, and Bitter End, Guilty as Charged.
That's right.
right.
There we go. Hope you guys listen to all those records. They're very good. Some you might hate, some you might like. Shoot us feedback about it. We are going to set this up so that you can vote on them. If today is Tuesday, which it likely is, we will probably put up the poll to vote on Thursday.
And have it open for a week.
A week. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll make it a week so you have plenty of time to listen to it. None of these records are actually that long in real time,
No.
despite the fact that we're like, oh, they're so long.
Yeah, no, that's just a hardcore brain.
Yes.
All of these are worth checking out in a very serious way, and we impose upon you to do so.
Yeah, so Bob put together a list that is not for public consumption.
Okay.
We'll put that out
For
there.
us to, oh, okay. We'll put it under our. So it's literally, if you listen to all 8 records, it's a little under 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that over the
easy.
course of a few days. So
Yeah, sure. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I really enjoy these. It gives us an opportunity to talk about things in depth.
And now you can go talk to your dad about the 64.
can you kiss your dad on the cheek? No.
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go.
I'll kiss his bald head. I'll
There you
kiss his
go.
fat stomach. I don't give a shit. I kiss my dad over anywhere. I had something to share with everybody, but I don't
I
recall
think you
what
just
it is
shared too
now.
much.
I
Kiss my dad anyway.
closing-
I'll kiss
Any
him
close?
anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'll probably be changing his diapers in a couple of years.
Free Frank K.
You know what I mean? Yeah, free Frank. He's got a year until the parole board. Not a year, but like
Can we?
December.
How can we expedite that? Do we need to write letters?
Can we write letters? It works.
Actually,
that's an interesting
when he does appear in front of his parole, it is important that we write
Okay,
letters.
so we'll be any of y'all who have actual like real person credentials, like Tom.
Yeah.
We will we'll lean on you to write some cool letters for Frank K.
100%.
There you go. Everybody, this has been Axe to Grind. Thank you, as always. Check out the Patreon. What's up?
/ Axe to Grind podcast.
There you go.
Check out the Twitter
Axe to Grindcast.
There you
at
go.
us.
and email us at.
Axe to Grind Podcast at
Thank you.
gmail.com.
Thank you.
Pat doesn't look at that, so he's like,
It's okay.
what the fuck? And look us up on Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah.
Facebook.
That's where all the kids are doing. They're looking on the
are they
Facebook for
booking?
stuff.
They're booking.
Thanks, everyone, for their support. Mosh Madness is going to be awesome.
Not just another silly love song.
There you go.